Hello and welcome everybody to the first round of the lower bracket for NACL Summer Split 2024 playoffs. I'm Kangs, I'll be your play-by-play for the day, and I'm joined once again by Beatdown, who at the beginning of the year we thought we wouldn't cast at all, and now I think you're the only person I've casted with all split somehow.
Am I really?
So, something like that. We've somehow reversed. I think I had Joshi like one time, but I'm happy to have it, Beatdown. Our synergy's insane now.
Dude, it is. All that practice, all that prep. You got to thank Josh as well, because he and I actually did a lot of swapping this split. Not for this specific reason, but, for other reasons. But this is a bonus. We like you.
I mean, you could just use me as the excuse. You
yeah,
can
but
be
that would be
honest,
lying. Come on.
All right. Well, let's bring our attention then to what is on the agenda for today, because we have the updated playoff bracket. We are here in the lower bracket with Winthrop versus Blue Otter, but we've already had a lot of stories coming out from the bracket far. I mean, that round one Blue Otter versus Supernova was already such a tight matchup, and we already have our upper bracket semifinals set with Dragon Seal versus Fear X Starforge.
That's right, on August 29th, we're going to already find out who's going to punch our first ticket to the grand finals. And of course, that first spot to Sao Paulo for that Americas tournament we've been building up throughout the split. But like you said, Kangas, on this bracket, we're looking at L1 today. And L2 will be played out tomorrow with DSG and a TLC. So we're at the start of that lower bracket where we're going to have to start saying goodbye to some of our teams as their season's going to end.
Yes, we will. And also important to note that we are into best of 5 territory.
Right.
If you follow the open qualifiers, you've seen this already, but this is going to be our first time in the NACL on stream with full Fearless best of 5, which is a very exciting change to the traditional best of 5 format. And we'll kind of go over what to expect from that when we're getting into draft. But first off, it is Winthrop University versus Blue Otter, like you said, Beatdown, fighting for their tournament lives and for the season's lives. This is maybe the last time that we see any of these players for the entire year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, we got to take a look at Winthrop University first. We haven't seen them since week 8 when they played their last match against DSG, I believe it was. This is a team that I think we're really slumping towards the end after their win against Blue Otter, funny enough, in week 5. They haven't won a single series yet. And the hope is that now that they've gotten a chance to play, I mean, I talked to Darkwings earlier today. He does think that they did manage to get enough time to kind of get a handle on this new patch, enough time to prepare for this particular series. And he did say he is confident in their chances to win. And I do want to quickly shout out for those who've been watching throughout the split and are wondering, where is SkyTech? Chookies is in for him today.
Yes, a very late roster swap happening in the support role for Winthrop University. You'll notice that all split we've been saying, it's the Slew core with Denethor. Well, now Chookies is in from Winthrop University because they did have a very expanded roster for the team. So we'll have to see if this is a change that is positive for them going into this elimination best of 5 match, because so far, like you had said, they've been on a slump ever since 2-0 in Blue Otter in the regular season. They had not picked up a series win. Whereas on the other side, when we take a look at Blue Otter, pull up their roster here, the complete opposite story. They got 2-0'd by Winthrop University, and then they went on to sweep the rest of the season, or at least in series scores. They dropped a couple of games here and there, but I mean, they had a fantastic end to the summer split.
Yeah, I think it's incredible what they have managed to do, Steve. Just the fact that going into, or rather after their match against Winthrop University, this team was 1-5. A lot of us wrote them off. I wrote them off looking at the rest of their schedule. FlyQuest, TL, DSG, and they managed to win every match since then, getting them into this position they're in right now. Yeah, they ended up in 4th seed, and they did end up losing to 5th seed, excuse me. They lost to Supernova, but I think this team has shown tremendous growth throughout the split, and that's just something to be celebrated. This kind of improvement, especially in a difficult scenario like that, has to be celebrated.
On their day, it feels like they can take down any team, as they have gotten wins, individual game wins against the top teams. I mean, even Dragonsteel, who hadn't dropped a series, I believe their first game loss was to Blue Otter out of like the 2 or 3 game losses that they had all regular summer splits. So Blue Otter are the real deal. They had a close series against Supernova in the upper bracket. Now our eyes are going to be on how confident do they look going into this series, especially when you factor in Winthrop University's roster swaps. But while we let the initial bans come in, Beatdown, we got to update everybody on what Fearless best of 5 looks like, because we've only seen best of 3 so far.
We have, and I mean, until we get to Game 4, this is going to be the exact same format as we've seen all split long. It is going to be, a champion gets picked. It's not available for the rest of the series. The changes start in Game 4, where neither team will have their last 2 bans, and in Game 5, there will be no bans. Something to look out for. A lot of these first rotation bans that we see throughout the split, in a Game 5 scenario, they're going to be up and available towards the end. So Game 5s, it adds that extra little bit of spice on top of Fearless.
Yeah, if it goes the full 5-game distance, there will be 40 champions not available. Yeah. Out of the, I don't know exactly, it's like 160 something right now, I want to say.
Man.
Yeah, that is a substantial percentage of the champions in League of Legends that you just cannot play. I actually have word from producer, thank you, Emily, 162 champions in the game right now. 40 of those will not be available, meaning that 122 will still be available for a pick, which seems like a big number, but then you factor in what's strong right now, what are the players practicing right now, what strategies have they prepared. It gets really funky really fast. So these first couple of games are going to be very important because it's the more traditional Fearless ban like we're talking about. Let's catch up on what's going on here. Aurora made it through, not banned in the first wave by Winthrop, but Blue Otter might not lock it in yet. We'll see if they actually want that. It seems like a very strong champ right now.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about the more recent patches and this matchup in particular is that now we're in a position where mages, they are back on the menu. But the funny thing is, throughout the split for Sammykin and Darkwings, they've been on the menu all of summer split, Kangas. So these are the 2 players more often than any other mids who still find angles to pull out mages. Often we see Sammykin lean onto things like the Hui, Darkwings on the Syndra and other mage picks as well. And of course, he's very happy to grab that Orianna. There's a setup for a big combo I'm sure that Winnie or Denethor is going to be looking to draft towards.
And I'm happy that Sammykin's one of the players that's pulling this out, because his champ pool was one of the critiques that a lot of other players had of him coming into the summer split. Was like, oh, Sammykin, he's kind of like a Zoe Lux 2-trick. But his champ pool has expanded. It's kind of forced to in a Fearless draft system. So cool that he's picking this up. But it's answered by Orianna Misfortune, a powerful combo. Talk about press R compositions. If you find the right team fight, engage with those 2, you can do a lot of damage very fast.
Yeah, and I want to say part of that also does seem like a bit of a deny. We know since Aurora came out, pairing with things like the Misfortune has become more popular. And I can't believe we didn't even talk about this one yet. The Senna being up and available. This is recently buffed Senna. Disgustingly powerful. Enchanter, marksman, support, whatever she is. She has many different designations, and Blue Otter are going to be very happy picking that one out early. You get a lot of scaling, a lot of range, and a lot of problems for Winthrop.
Yeah, it doesn't do as much damage with the current iteration with the changes, but your healing is insane. So you are more like a modern Soraka than old Senna was, and it can keep your team alive for very long. The frontline option so far is the Renekton locked in. Not going to be too much of like a true tank engage, but still pretty safe blind pick for Quacker, and it's answered by the Rumble. So Denethor locking that in. No junglers picked so far in the first rotation, means that we probably should expect some heavy focus on that here in the second rotation.
You see, I'm thinking Blue Otter may want to start to put some heavy focus on the engaged support pool instead. Rel, in my mind, immediately, you need that out of here. Rel Ori, Rel Rumble, Rel MF. I don't want to see that on my screen. So I really do hope that Blue Otter take that one away. Leona's another great one. So, it's just removing some of those options so Winthrop don't have as easy of a wombo combo.
If you check my match history,
I don't want to do that.
You could also go Malphite support here, but maybe not as good at this level of play than what I'm playing at. But you're right, the idea of just engage, it can lock down a bunch of people in one place, or even just 1 or 2 people will set up the Misfortune, Rumble, Orianna ultimates to layer on top. Winthrop University are focused on the marksman, though. They're taking away things like the Jhin and the Smolder, because we're assuming that Aurora's going mid lane, and you were right, Beat. It is Rel ban with Leona as the other engage taken off the table for Blue Otter, or from Blue Otter's side.
Yeah, I mean, I think this leaves up something like the Nautilus. It's probably just the next best thing. It isn't as good as Leo or Rel, but I think this is about what Blue Otter can expect in this scenario. And there's still the option for them to pick up something like maybe the Tom Kench. Maybe Winthrop leaves it up in favor of the Vi. So there's that. Oh, wow. Just the insta Yasuo. That's got to be Senna Yasuo, no?
Yeah, Yasuo Senna bot lane, I would assume then. Levitate piloting that one with Robex piloting the Senna, you would assume. Okay, yeah, I mean, at this point, you can't really do... It's just such a different version of Senna that you don't really put your marksman on the champion at this point. You have a different job, a different goal, which means their jungle needs to be the one to set up the Yasuo because they don't have the knockups really elsewhere in the comp. It's Gragas. Fantastic champion for setting up that Yasuo.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll see how things get mixed up. I know my immediate thought is, oh, Yasuo, Gragas bot lane, but I think it's actually going to be Music piloting the Gragas in the jungle. It's probably the most likely thing just from what we've seen so far. And I think this is a really nice setup into what Winthrop are trying to go for. Especially, I think Aaron's going to have a very unfun game because you have this Yasuo who's going to be trying to get on top of you at all times. Same with Gragas, same with Renekton. And I think it's going to be hard for you to get off these bullet times consistently because there's that exploding cask, a really great way if Music holds that one to break up these fights and make it harder for Winthrop to get the straight up front to back they want.
I'm happy you highlight that because that is one of the defensive tools that Blue Water have to stop part of the combo, but the Vi Orianna combo side of that is still there, and that is a tried and true classic that has caught a lot of teams or a lot of players out of position in games by surprise. You just die so fast with that combination, especially if you're trying to get to safety. You can carry the Orianna ball closer to your team. I love to see what Winthrop has put together. It seems like this is a very clear identity of a team composition and what they want to pull off here. It's group up around objectives and fight, engage. Blue Water are going to have to play a little more coy with how they approach this one, in my opinion. So let's see. Again, when you have a roster swap with Winthrop University, these more straightforward compositions can be the way to go. Let's see if it works out for them here in game number 1.
Remember, guys, this is our lower bracket round 1, so these teams are playing for their tournament lives. I talked to Thin Uncle Phil, Steve, and he told me the goal has been the same since the beginning of the split. We're trying to make it to Sao Paulo, and if they really want to make that happen, it's going to start here after their loss to Supernova in the upper bracket.
Blue Otter seemed like a team that, like you said, we wrote off early in the split, or about halfway through based on their record. They were always reminding us on socials and even in some of the games themselves that they can show up in the right draft in the right moment. And the coaching staff as well working with them to get on board for playing the map in League of Legends as of late. Got to give props to everybody involved here over at Blue Otter, coming in as 5th seed. The University sneaking in as the lowest seed, as they also were trying to surge at the end of the season, but just couldn't quite get those wins together.
No, not quite, but this is that opportunity again. Their last match was in Week 8, a couple of weeks ago, so there was that time to prepare for that next patch. The one we're on now, 14-16, acclimate themselves a little bit and work on some strategies going into this particular series. I mean, again, it's clear in this draft, too, where they have... it's a very straightforward composition. We know exactly how they want to be playing out these team fights. It's just going to be about how well this early game goes for them, because we know Winthrop like to play more for this early game. Use the prio Darkwings can get, something they often draft for him in the mid lane, to allow Winnie to get aggressive, generate these leads for the team. Because if I'm looking at Blue Water's side, a lot of scaling here. Senna, Aurora, even the Gragas, I think will hit very hard towards that late game. And considering how these champs want to interact, I'm liking Blue Water's chances a little bit if we go late.
But you did mention the one name that always comes up with Winthrop University, and that is Winnie. This jungler seems to be how the team lives or dies. Had early vision down onto Music there in the jungle clear, so knows where the Gragas is starting, and they're going to have mirrored starts. His Darkwings is trying to get priority here in mid lane. I'm expecting that Winnie's going to have a lot of confidence now to play for this top scuttle. If Darkwings can maintain this kind of mid lane push, means that your mid laner will be faster on the roam. But Quacker's answering it with a push top side, so it's going to be a potential scrap here. We'll see if Music wants to contest.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I think the Renekton in those early levels, once you hit level 3, is quite strong. So that might not be something Winnie actually wants to be going for. I mean, right now, too, you're seeing Aaron and Chukis go for an early recall here. Get a little bit of spending so they can walk back to lane. It is something like the call. So now, once the health reset, they've gotten the mana back. I could see Winnie just resetting and going straight bot side instead of actually fighting for that top crab.
That could be an avenue as well, even if he goes for the crab. Most likely spotted by the ward that Quacker put down, although now walking a different path. Could be heading mid lane.
Oh,
nope, he's going towards that scuttle. So we see a back from Sammykin. Has teleport available, but the Aurora was getting pushed out of lane, which means that it could be a potential 2v2. Oh, it's just a smite steal from Music. All right, body slam smite, no hesitation.
Wow, that
he's going
feels
top
bad.
now.
And Denethor,
you knew that he was
no
there.
info? What's going on?
This could be rough. Has flash available. Quacker's jumping forward into the brush. Denethor is just going to sacrifice his life, knows that there's no escape. That's first blood to Quacker.
Wow, and I know we've seen in games past what Quacker is able to do once you get him some of that extra gold. It is very often on his signature Olaf, but I mean, Renekton, getting gold like that early on is still something you could be very happy about. Steve, and this right here is already a bit of an L for Winnie. He didn't have smite, so it is what it is, but you have this information, Denethor. That's not good.
That, I will also say, communication needs to be better between top and jungle there, because the wave was in a bad spot for Denethor at that point. Winnie needs to stick around too. Your top laner needs to communicate to your jungler, hey, we got to go for this, because I got to get this wave in, otherwise it's going to be frozen on me and I'm in a terrible spot. Winnie just went straight to mid lane and was seen by Music going to mid lane, so clear play from Music. I'm going to give props to Music and Quacker for reading that misplay from Winthrop and then making their own proactive play.
Yeah, it is definitely a good look. Already leading to a bit of a gold lead here for the side of Blue Water. And you can see Sammykin is starting to get the better of that matchup. Oh, hold on.
Great dredge line. Levitate could be in trouble. The wind wall goes down, but it's not going to block a lot of damage. Rovek's trying to look for a knock-up onto Chookies, doesn't find it. Gets it instead onto Aaron, but here comes Winnie from Fog of War as Chookies gets the kill credit.
It feels kind of bad that Chookies ends up securing that one, but still, it is a kill. It does give you that opening to go for this first Drake. That is something very important for Winthrop this game. That early Drake stacking, using that prio you have with the MF Nautilus. So, still a good response there from Winthrop University.
Yeah, nice find. Also, important to note that Levitate is the one on the Senna, Rovek's on the Yasuo. But we're peeling off of the Dragon here as Blue Water look to contest, make it a awkward position for Winthrop. Dragon has reset, and Winthrop, do they still go for it? They don't. Blue Water don't lose that much for it. It's gold onto the Nautilus and no objective taken by the enemy team.
Wow, I actually really like that look there from Blue Water. Music, he's just going to go ahead and get that Raptors respawn as well. Just continue that bit of an experience lead he has over Winnie there. And I like that move, using the fact that Sammykin is starting to win this mid lane matchup now. Help him get that push and say, hey, if you keep staying on that Drake, we're going to fight you and it's going to go badly. And so it sets them up perfectly to go for the grubs. As Winnie, he's still on the bot side of the map.
He's trying to find some kind of play. Level 5 on the Vi. Music has just been out jungling him so far. I mean, the top scuttle play into the top gank, into the denial of Dragon, into taking away Raptors, into the grubs before the Dragons restarted. So might even walk down here and contest it again. We'll see if they have time or if they're just looking at mid lane instead. It's at half health. I'm looking at the mini-map. Music is just now hitting the mid lane. I think that Winthrop, if they just burn this down, it is secured. Music is just running straight forward. There's no shot, right? Yeah, Chookies goes for the engage instead. Darkwings is here, has level 6 shockwave used, and Music goes down. That's the combo of Winthrop's composition. But they used 2 ultimates for that, and they will back away. Blue Water just don't have enough gas in the tank to try and trade anything back.
Yeah, certainly a bold call there from Blue Water. They do end up paying for it with the kill going over to Darkwings. Now that's a kill. You're happy to go, or that's someone who you're happy to have your kills go over to, more than the support champion there, Steve. So Winthrop get the Dragon, they get a kill, and Music actually didn't take that third grub. Prioritized getting the 2 so that he could try and go for that contest, and it just ends up being up and available. He'll probably still make his way up towards it, because you can see Sammykin does have that push consistently in the mid lane, and Quacker is still in a really strong point in the game, especially with that Hex Drinker.
Yeah. Ooh, Sammykin's back stopped right there as Darkwings will deny the back here. Sammykin doesn't have teleport, so he's going to have to run back to lane. This is not a cannon wave, so we'll probably miss 3 to 4 CS, depending on how fast Darkwings can get this in. And now Darkwings has a little window here. You see that Winnie's on the bot side of the map, and Darkwings is heading down as well. Music will spot him. And you see Rovex is going to have to position way off the wave, but is actually running up and now getting engaged on. Yeah, Chookies and Winnie, they had the play planned for a full 30 seconds, and they are executing it. Levitate still alive, but one final auto will get him, and now diving further on the Rovex, nice. He's going to go down. Double kill to Aaron, but the turnaround from Music, and Brother Gaskins flash, but Winnie's still in trouble.
Oh my god,
Sammykin! Aurora's locking them in there. Trying to look at Darkwing's next. It's just a slaughter for Aurora. Sammykin, the roaming mage mid laner savant, makes his way down and will get 4 kills. That's a quadra.
8-minute and 50-second quadra kill. Nicely done from Blue Otter to turn that one around. That looked really difficult there for a moment. It was a nice dive from Winthrop University, but Blue Otter make them pay for it and then some, Steve.
And, I mean, again, it's a nice look from Winthrop. I think diving onto Rovex was the ambitious part, but the wave is here. I like the look. You have Darkwings, you say, this is fine. But then a willingness for the 2v4 and watch Sammykin hit the between worlds onto just everybody, locking them in the cage.
Yeah, this is the tough part, though. There's really no way out of this one once you're this far as Winthrop University, so it is a nice move there from Sammykin, from Music to make this play happen. Again, you recoup the gold you lost and then some with a play like this. And now Sammykin, who is going this more glass cannon build on the Aurora, picked up 4 kills worth of gold. He's going to do so much damage to the squishy members of Winthrop.
Oh, is invisible. There's the shockwave. And now Chookies, channeling the Hex Flash. You were in range. You just hit the dredge line. I think a slight misplay right there, but it's all right. They can still look for the play now onto Rovex, who's all alone in the river, as Flash does not land the knockups, and now flashes away from the Vault Breaker of Winnie. Rest of Blue Water now running in. Sammykin gonna get that extra bit of damage into Chookies. Music does have explosive cask, so watch for the body slam R. Not gonna go for it.
They are gonna get that priority on the bot side, get the Scuttle Crab, but now
the 1v1.
That's fine. All right, nothing else is gonna come with that. I did want to point out earlier, Quacker did take that 3rd grub, though it is a bit later than earlier.
Okay.
Oh,
this is an interesting scenario. Chookies has to flash away. Explosive Cask is used that time around. And the combo with Rovex to lock down Winnie. The wind wall blocking every tick of damage from bullet time. Oh, what a counter pick champion here. They got the combo pulled off as well as the denial.
Wow, really nice wind wall there from Rovex. I mean, that was already a winning play, but that's just insult to injury here. And Chookies, we're playing Nautilus, man. It feels bad to miss a hook like that, Steve.
Yeah.
And as a result, the rest of this play is just in pieces here. Again, great awareness from Rovex right after he channels that last breath. Immediately just says, yeah, sorry, bro. You're useless this fight. Step aside.
Yeah, that bullet time was about as useful as Azale's hair gel right there. Just did nothing. As Rovex keeping everybody alive and safe. Quacker now in a 1v1 here onto Denethor. Has flash available and gets a little chunk and backs off. Dragon's up in 25 seconds. I expect the teams to set up for that, especially Winthrop University. They still have the Wombo combo to pull off.
They do, but right now, they have this 2k gold lead, and there is a lot of gold in the mid-jungle here of this team. Honestly, the soul laners in general, you could see it right now. Music, Sammykin, Quacker, all at the top of the charts right now. So if they want this dragon, as long as they find a way to deal with actually, no, they may not even have to. Winnie doesn't have his ult yet. The only thing you're really afraid of is that shockwave there from Darkwing. So I think you have what you need as Blue Otter to take this dragon.
Yeah, Winthrop committed to setting up for it a little bit harder. I think that they had a chance to fight for it, but after that last play went that way, I think that they're maybe a little spooked. And instead, Winnie goes towards top jungle to clear that out. That is a dragon picked up for Blue Otter.
Yeah, and it's just nicely done there for Blue. Winthrop in a bit of a tough position now. Part of this comp was that power in the early game to be able to get advantages, allow Winnie to play it aggressive in the way that we know he does. But now in this position, 12 minutes in, you're 2k down. You're not even able to stack Drakes very effectively. This game is becoming hard.
Winnie is now onto the second spawn of grubs here. All 3 were picked up by Blue Otter, as during one of the replays earlier, they had grabbed that one. Winnie can try and deny, but Music's here. Okay. first one for Winnie, and now just jumps away because he does not have the backup of mid or top lane, which means Blue Otter should get 5 grubs.
And it's not Grubageddon. You know, it's not. You won't get as many extra Void Mites, but it is still 5 Void Grubs. The Blue Otter are going to be doing a lot of damage to these structures, and I mean, considering the range that they have and that they're going to have with the Senna stacks as Levitate gets them later on into the game, it will be easier and easier for them to siege and get the full value out of this. They're already, Denethor even recognizes it, ults the wave and says, yeah, nice try, buddy.
And it's looking tougher and tougher for Winthrop University's odds as the game goes on. When we looked at their composition, it is a press R combo in team fights. How do you force a team fight? Usually the objectives are the way to do it early in the game. And if your composition doesn't scale, I expect you to be contesting for these early objectives. The fact that they've let 5 of the grubs go over along with 1 of the 2 dragons, and now the Herald, without even setting up a contest, setting up a team fight for them, pretty rough. They're going to go for a second dive bot instead. Quacker hits the wave, clears it out almost entirely. Dominus popped as now Chookies will tank up turret. Quacker can live for quite
ambitious.
a while. That's a lot of ultimates expended. They already lost 1. Winnie turns it around as Darkwings punishes Quacker for the over-eagerness.
Yeah.
But still a 1-for-1 for the dive as Herald has picked up topside. Blue Otter coming out of that one well ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say right before that play too, I really did like that lane assignment. Having Quacker laid into Darkwings, hold on, we're not done.
Okay. Another little pick here found as Denethor, quite squishy on the rumble, pays the price. Is on the receiving end of the barrel sword combo of Rovex and Music. Nice little pick.
And remember, they have the Rift Herald as well to do with what they please with this top tier 1, not long for this world. Bot tier 1 has damage, mid tier 1 has damage. They can pretty much knock down whatever structures they want with that Herald once they get the opportunity for it. So Blue Otter, now they've increased this gold lead to 3,500, and Winthrop find themselves in dire straits, Kangas.
Yeah, this is looking like a dominant performance from Blue Otter early on here. Already 3,500 gold up with that scaling composition. It's only going to get harder from here. There's just no pure tank on the side of Winthrop to tank up a Gragas plus Yasuo combo. If that hits anybody, they are in a lot of trouble. And I go back to the, curious thought of not going for contests around early objectives. I think that this next dragon kind of has to be a contest. Because yes, they're still behind in gold, but it doesn't matter if you're behind in gold. If you find the right engage, if you find the right Vi ult into Shockwave, into Rumble ultimate, it doesn't matter if your Misfortune gets Windwalled. Everything else should be enough to win the fight. They just have not been willing to set that up yet.
Yeah, the Wombo combo is still certainly there for Winthrop. It can get them something in the right situation, and I agree, Steve. That is certainly what these guys are going to have to play for because, this slow and long game, they're just going to bleed out. Again, Blue Otter, and as the game goes on, Aurora is just going to get more dangerous. Same with Yasuo, Senna, most of all. And it's going to be harder and harder for Winthrop to get those fights that we were talking about just a moment ago, Steve.
I mean, Sammy can get in that quadra kill. Got him such a massive lead
nice
on the Aurora. New champ. First time I'm seeing it in a competitive game. First time I'm casting one in a competitive game. So you know that I got the official Riot Games league page up, so I know the ability names. But also I want to talk about Samykin as a player for a little bit. We're having conversations about most valuable prospect, most improved player, rookie of the split. Samykin definitely in that conversation for rookie of the split, but we'll get back to that because Quacker yet again is on the receiving end of a dive. That bullet time this time around will land true. No wind wall there. Winnie locks him down and Aaron knocks him down.
Yeah, but that's tough. So much traded for it on the other side of the map. Even more than I could have imagined. A tier 2, a tier 1, and a kill. If they play this one fast enough, they could get that Herald charge into the mid-tier 2 as well. I don't know if they'll actually... okay, well, Music isn't able to get it. But I want to bring back that conversation you were mentioning there, Steve. Yeah, you shouted out Samykin. I think it's...
I don't know if they're going to let you talk, Beatdown, because Rovex is trying to flash away, but he's followed up by the depth charge. Windwall not enough to save him. Darkwings gets the kill.
A much needed one at that, too. Between that and that top tier 1 turret, Aaron stayed to secure. That is some extra gold into the pockets of the carries of Winthrop. It is very much needed. It is a bit of a reprieve from what they've lost, but it is still a small thing compared to what they've lost.
Yeah, they get the pick mid for Winthrop University, but the fact that Blue Otter still get the Dragon is rough news. Let's get another look at that. So this is, while the dive's happening topside, Winnie commits to the play, and then Music says, hold my barrel. I can show you one better here, because I only need one person with me. The Herald charges in to tank up the turret. Yeah,
I mean,
Denethor just sits around.
The mites too. And it's tough, because Denethor, he had the right idea. You ult the wave. In any other situation, you're pretty safe from that regard. But Music has 5 grubs. He has the Rift Herald. I think you should have just left.
Yeah.
Gets punished.
I think agreed. But end of the day, it is Samikin getting more gold from being around that turret going down. Music's the one with the kill credit, but that's 2 items on Samikin's Aurora. We're talking about people in the conversation for Rookie of the Split, Samikin, and Levitate as well, by the way, also in that conversation too. It's performances like this that have been happening throughout the summer split, not just on the Zoe, but also showing off that Samikin has a much deeper champ pool than a lot of us gave him credit for at first.
And I think it's a nice thing, too. You look at the players from Blue Otter. I mean, Cubby talked about it in their match against Supernova. The fact that 2 of these players in Music and Quacker got relegated with Supernova last year, and now are in this position where they've improved so much. Oh, yeah, not allowed.
But this could be the angle. Winthrop University, how do they set it up, though? Winnie flashes away. Nobody's on Winnie. Now they're turning it back on a Quacker. Big damage, using explosive cast a little late, but it gets Rovex out of the back line, and Rovex is just tearing through the health bar, through the exhaust. Wow. Aurora locking everybody down, and Blue Otter. It looked a little rough at first, losing Quacker, but it was worth it in the end. They will take an essential ace here. Chasing down Shookies when he does get the back off on the minimap and is back in the safety of the base, but that is 4 for 1 in favor of Blue Otter.
Not just the 4, a mid-tier 2 as well if they want to stay for it. Their Baron take is slow. I don't think we're going to see a 20-minute Baron, but it's still another tremendous win for the side of Blue Otter, and I'm just going to talk about it now, Steve. So many people are dead. Surely we're not going to fight. Blue Otter, Music, Quacker, got relegated. Winnie, bro, don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay, they got relegated with Supernova. Feels bad. They've improved so much. I hate it here, bro. We're double TPing. Are you serious?
I think we're double TPing in. The plant is used. Levitate and Rubik's now have to get out of there. Denethor trying to chase him down, but does not have the equalizer. So Music just comes back over the wall. And what a knockup from Rubik's! The tornado on the 2. Double kill to the Yasuo and a flash follow-up from Music. Blue Otter are making a statement in Game 1.
And that statement is we want Game 1 over as soon as possible. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what Winthrop were really hoping for. I understand when you're far behind, desperation plays are the way, but I don't know if that was quite the angle. They used both their teleports, they used so many resources, and it still didn't work, Steve. We're at this point of no return now, where this gold lead, it's about to crest over to 10,000. Remember, Blue Otter also outscale. I think we're past that point of Winthrop finding the Wombo combo to come back.
I love the idea of full sending a fight from Winthrop. But I think that the timing of it was incorrect. I would have loved to see something like that around the 15-minute mark, not now. Maybe the thought process was, oh, they're going to be like resetting. They're trying to take red buff, but if we catch them out and win that fight, we get the Baron. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a very bold move. It does not work out for the Blue Otter now, close to a 10,000 gold lead as we are cresting 22 minutes into this game.
Well, yeah. And at this point, this is a Blue Otter's game to lose. They have everything they need to pretty much end this one, and you can see it. They're setting up for some bush plays, just trying to see if they can catch someone crossing over, pathing disrespectfully, like has happened in earlier minutes of this game. But again, it's just been a great look from Blue Otter so far in this Game 1. And now they want more. Yeah, he's
if
looking for
Blue Otter
something.
are sloppy and don't check this brush, this is actually a huge flank. Nobody has spotted Winnie in this brush.
He doesn't want this.
Winthrop need to be ready to pull the trigger. There's no Aurora. They could take a 5v4 right here, right now, under the turret. Samikin's now walking up, but focus down Levitate, focus down Rovex. Here comes Winnie. This is the Hail Mary. This is what everything is being thrown at, but Rovex just lived through it easily. Bullet time used onto 2 members that were not where the buy was. Another double kill picked up for Samikin, another double kill for Rovex, making a triple for the mid laner, and Blue Otter answer the play in kind. Easy ace, and are going to push in the minion waves for the game.
They're going to win in, I don't want to say record time, but in hasty fashion. They are going to sweep Winthrop under the rug, and they're going to send us straight to game 2.
What a play. What a setup. I mean, this composition is not the one that I expected to be pulling off the insane wombo combos, but they were the ones doing just that. It was not about the, Orianna following up the Vi engages. We didn't see that until it was too late. It was about the Gragas setting up the Yasuo and just heavily out jungling Winnie, who we had already said is kind of the heart and soul of this Winthrop University roster.
Yeah, 100%. And when Winnie's not able to get the game going for the team, things really just don't work out for them, kind of like we saw in that game 1. And speaking of, we got to talk about our player of the game for game 1. It is Sammykin. Early quadra kill, got the snowball rolling. That basically was the beginning of the end, if you ask me. Because a champ getting 4 kills early, pretty scary. Aurora, terrifying.
And this is one of the things I noticed about Sammykin as early as, the tryouts, the combines that were happening in the offseason coming into summer split. A lot of teams were doing those, and thankfully I got to co-stream some of them. I watched Sammykin games a lot because what he did more than anybody is get out of lane and impact bot lane, impact top lane, even on things like Orianna. And that Aurora roam was giving me big flashbacks to seeing his tryouts at the beginning of the summer split of, look, laning phase is not his focus as a player. It is about being at the right place at the right time to make the biggest impact for the team. And I think that impact is what gives him player of the game for game number 1. But, yeah, I mean, what else can he say? Rovex also, shout out to Rovex. I want to say Rovex and Music, their combo was insane and a big part of why that game was a victory as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shout outs we could give, I think, top to bottom for the team. But yeah, it was a quick one. Again, they just kind of made fast work of Winthrop University. It is a best of 5, so it's not match point yet, but the way Blue Water is playing, it'd be an early night.
Could be. We'll see if Winthrop University have much more in the tank, because we're going to send it to a short break before we are back with game number 2 after this.
You know Viper and you know Sniper, but did you know they had a third brother? That's right, the third brother, Crimson, has been playing in the Challengers League this split, and his brothers are convinced he only needs one split of Challengers League before he is ready for the LCS, and he's already well on track as a frontrunner for the Rookie of the Split. And yes, of course, he does play Riven. We have even more awards, and one of these players has just replaced his coach in the top lane. You all remember Niles from his time on Golden Guardians? Well, he's been replaced by Zamudo, and he's been looking fantastic with some of the best roams and flanks in the entire league, consistently winning lanes and finding wins for his team. We've consistently seen that Zamudo has leveled up his game over the season now that he's on a top team. The growth of Zamudo has made him an easy frontrunner for the most improved. After that, we're seeing potentially the first time where someone will win the most valuable prospect 2 splits in a row. Having already won the most valuable prospect award with Maryville last split, Yuji has not dropped a beat. Showcasing proficiency on both bruisers and on AP junglers, Yuji is once again leading Dragonsteel to an as-of-yet undefeated split. However, the award is tightly contested as 2 former LCS pros are once again looking like they might deserve another shot. Tomo has taken his LCS level laning that we already knew he had and converted it into way more wins than Disguise would have otherwise taken. Now he continues to show dominance as the best AD carry in the league, and it's not close. Last split, we got to see Shaden play around his laners with increasing ability. However, we did not get to see him play much of a supportive role in his games. This split, now that we are strictly in a carry meta, we are continuing to see him level up that play, showcasing abilities on both AP carries and physical damage ones. Tune in at 5 p.m. Pacific, and remember, the future of the LCS starts after the LCS.
Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same toxic chemical that's used in taxidermy? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde.
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 Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Here's a fact that'll stop you in your tracks. Teens who vape can be exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. Know the real cost.
And we're back getting ready for game 2 of our first full Fearless best of 5 in the NACL Summer Split. Game 1 dominantly in Blue Otter's control for pretty much the entire time. And that was a very fast game 1 as well, under 25 minutes.
Under 24 minutes, I'm pretty sure, too. Oh. And yeah, I mean, Blue Otter, I think they played that early game out pretty well. I think the sad thing for Winthrop is that they had a lot of good moments in the earlier game. I'll say some good moments where they used some of that early game pressure well. They picked up some kills and had some successful dives, but past a certain point, I think pretty much after that Aurora quadra kill for Samikin, it feels like they just fell apart. Weren't able to find any good skirmishes. There were actually few moments past that point where they were able to get that wombo combo off, sans for the one-time Rovex windwalled it.
Yeah. The early Dragon was the only attempt from the side of Winthrop to really look for something. After that, it was like a Star Wars spinoff. They dropped it after one attempt. But look at the damage coming out from Music. We talk about people in conversation for awards. Conversation for most improved player. Music has been brought up quite often on our end from the community, and that Gragas play, just insane.
It was. And you know what? We're not in the game. The players can't interrupt you, so I can finally talk about this. But it's not just Music. I think the incredible thing about the storyline for these players on Blue Otter is that, again, it's like Cubby said in their last series. 2 of these guys, Music and Quacker, they got relegated, but they still managed to come back and improve so much throughout this last split here in the NACL. This team as a whole has a lot to be impressed about, because you mentioned it. Samikin got a nod for Rookie of the Split. That was actually my vote. Levitate was getting nods. Music got nods for Most Improved Player. The fact that people are throwing the names of these players towards our end of season awards, especially after being 1-5 in the middle of the split, really just shows the turnaround that they had.
And it is a reminder for everybody in the community, a regular season award. So playoff performance does not count towards the voting, but it's because how good the end of their summer split looked that a lot of these players suddenly skyrocketed in stocks, and they are maintaining that momentum. Again, close series against Supernova, picking up one of those games in the upper bracket before dropping down into here, and maybe they can just make the sweep against Winthrop University, because it did not seem like Winthrop had many answers specifically. Winnie looking like he was jungling a couple seconds behind the tempo that Music was jungling. Music was just ahead of plays and outreading where Winnie was.
That's right. Now we go into the draft here, our second game. Of course, it is full Fearless, remember. So 10 champions already off the board. And if we are going to see that game 4, game 5, where we have dozens of champions unavailable, Winthrop, they're going to need to be able to find some sort of comeback here.
Now let's see what their avenue is for it. Now, interesting to note that Winthrop chose red side this time around, so they would rather have the counter pick here. Also, welcome to everybody coming in from the LCS raid. Thank you so much for that. We are in our lower bracket playoff run here in the NACL with a best of 5 full Fearless. So if you've ever wondered what full Fearless looks like in best of 3s because you haven't seen it if you're just an LCS fan, well, you can check out all of our past tape, but this is the first time that we're seeing best of 5 full Fearless in the NACL. There's going to be like 40 champions not playable by the end of the series if it goes full 5 games.
If it goes there.
Blue Water looked really good in game number 1, so we'll see if we can get there. It's Ash locked in first for them, and Winthrop are answering with the Jin and the Maokai.
Okay, so a lot of long range so far. And Jin, you can interact from range with the Deadly Flourish. Winnie, that long range engage with the Maokai, a champion he's had a good bit of success on. I think is a good thing there so far from Winthrop University. I'm curious how Blue Water are going to keep this one going. I am expecting, honestly, mostly mage picks throughout the rest of this series, right as I say it. Don't do that to me, Sammy Kid. Come on.
Okay. Just back to the quirky.
Yeah,
everyone, if you notice
the
Fearless bands, we have it grayed out, the champions that were picked in the last game. Also, if you don't know what full Fearless means, it means you cannot play champions that were played earlier in the series. We got Aurora last game. Sorry you missed it. Now you get Corky with Cassante and Ash. So maybe a little more standard to what folks are accustomed to seeing lately.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering. I think it's probably just going to be Denethor's pick there on 3. Doesn't really often get the counter pick with this squad, even on red side. They do put him on a lot of tank duty and things like that, but there it is. This is actually a Denethor special, if you will, the Camille. We don't see a lot of it, but it is a nice way to not only take down the Cassante inside lane, but also you have the way to lock down the more elusive carries like the Corky, who are so slippery and hard to get pinned down.
And we talk about names like Sammykin and Levitate as Rookie of the Split potential nominees or potential candidates to take that. Denethor would qualify, but he wasn't brought up very much in the Split, and I wanted to see more of this type of play from Denethor, because when we saw him during the Combines and the tryouts during the offseason, it was all about Gwen, Camille, Jax, these carry top laners, and he hasn't been playing as much of those niche picks that he feels comfortable on, especially in a Fearless style of draft. I feel like there were drafts where they could have leaned towards more of what the Denethor champ pool is. I hope that we see a Denethor pop off here, because I still think there's a lot of potential in this player, and seeing him on something like Camille can be a really fun treat when he's on his day.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, there is at least an opportunity from what's showing so far for a Denethor to have that big impact. So it'll be really exciting, especially for a player who we often see playing a lot of tanks so far in the summer split. So it's nice that here in that potential last series, because this is a lower bracket, that he does get a chance to pull out something like this.
Interesting to see a lot of AD ban focus for the second 2 from Blue Otter in round 2. Jason, Yone, I imagine we're going to get an AP mid laner from Winthrop. When you see Cassante and you already have Jin, Camille, you kind of need AP damage somewhere. So Azir fits the bill, and it will be Darkwings piloting arguably his most played champion throughout his tier 2 career.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Jace is fine, because Jace Maokai is a really good pairing. I kind of agree with your skepticism on the Yone, but it does open up again. Darkwing's one of his most played and most comfortable champions here. And there's still plenty of AP options there for Music. He is going to end up going the route of the Lilia. I'm wondering, I think they need a little more engage, even though they have the Ashe. I think it's just something like the Leona, that's still up and available. I mean, Brella's up too if they want to go for that, but I think either works.
I think Lilia is actually a little dangerous here. I love Lilia when you see a lot of melee champions on the enemy team. Really, Camille's scary because she can just kind of one-shot you if she's got items in the game. And then Azir's going to outrange you. Jhin can, try and dodge around your bowling ball and then outplay you.
Yeah.
So it's a bold move for Music. We'll see if it works out for him. Can still power farm much faster than the Maokai, theoretically. And then it's a Leona for Rovex. So that's going to be their engage tool. They really don't have any other proper hard engage other than if Lilia can land a sneaky sleep. It's answered by Rel for Chookies.
Yeah, there it is. So with these comps rounded out, I think both comps are definitely not lacking for damage DPS in that late game. I'm especially interested in how Winthrop are going to play that mid to late game because you do have a really good side lane option, again, in the Camille. If Denethor gets ahead, if Denethor gets even, he's still going to be a problem in the side lane. He's going to be, he could be that pressure to pull multiple people towards his lane. And if Winnie wants to play to that lane, that long range engage with the Nature's Grasp, I think that's something really interesting that Winthrop could play towards later on.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, last game Music was just crushing Winnie in the jungle clear, so hopefully Winnie's got a better game plan for how to answer that this time around. Also, I was talking about the Leona as the engage. Totally forgot about the Ash Arrow. So there are actually decent tools here for Blue Otter to start off fights if people from Winthrop are out of position. I think same can still be said slightly for Winthrop with a good lockdown between the Rel, the Jhin, the Maokai. Game number 2, loaded onto the Rift. Let us know in chat who you think is going to take this one. And Blue for Blue Otter and WU for Winthrop University. Or as I like to say, woo. Right up. There we go. Blue Otter got a fan in there.
Well, we'll see. You still got a minute for the Winthrop fans to kind of lock in and cast their votes. But right now, taking a look, I mean, runes-wise, everything is about what you could expect, Steve. You talked about Winnie in that early game, something we know he likes to play for quite a lot. He has that opportunity over Music. Music is looking to power farm, is looking to just full clear as that Lilia. Means that Winnie has this opportunity as the Maokai. During his first clear, after it, he has a lot more gank potential. And there's a lot more of a chance to get his laners ahead. This game, I'm looking at Denethor and Darkwings. I think they're the ones who are going to be able to have a lot of that impact, either in the team fights or in side lane.
And I'll say in that last game, when he looking like a fish in a tree, a little out of his element. So this time around, hoping that he can actually make that impact happen, as you were saying, with these lanes to play towards. Say Darkwings can probably just play a pretty safe lane, mid lane, and then focus on bot or top if you're the Maokai, specifically Denethor, which is something I've noted the team just doesn't like to do very much, quite often. Denethor is just left on an island and plays weak side as opposed to strong side, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that it was the St. Louis University core on the Winthrop, or playing under the Winthrop banner, with Denethor being the only actual Winthrop proper player on the roster. Now with Chookies in, maybe we see a change.
Yeah, right now, things are starting off kind of slowly. We have those opposite starts. Winnie going for a bit of a reverse clear there, getting the early Raptors, just so that Music can't try and play for that second Raptor steal, just so he gets that timer wrong. Because Lilia clears quickly and just steals that Raptors camp so very fast if you're not careful. So just these small things so that Winnie can not fall too far behind early on. Because I mentioned gank potential. It's certainly there for the Maokai, but when you're playing against something like the Lilia that power farms, if those first few ganks don't really go your way, this Lilia is getting ahead of you the entire time, so it only gets harder. You need to make sure those plays have value.
And right now they're pathing opposite directions. Winnie's heading up top here, whereas Music is heading down bot, as Aaron and Chookies are pushing the wave in. So Aaron and Chookies need to be respectful of the fact that they don't have jungler on their side. Maybe try and let the wave hit at a spot more towards the middle of the lane, as Denethor is also pushing in. I'm wondering if there's any world where we try and dive here. Early game, Camille just doesn't have that much damage, so I think that's not the ideal scenario. It'd be nice if Denethor could have had the wave on his side, so that way there's a threat of a gank, but it doesn't look like that's a world we're living in. As mid lane, again, further trading. Good trade, actually, from Samikin right there. As I was saying earlier, not necessarily the player we look at for his laning phase, but it's a better of Darkwings. But now he's going to get caught out here as Winnie finds him hanging out on the top side of the jungle, top side of the mid lane. where his jungler was not. Flash forward, first blood for Dark Wings.
Ooh, I think we don't flash there. But either way, at least you get 2 flashes for the price of 1. Maybe that is something Music can try and punish in that mid lane in these next couple of minutes. But it's a nice gank coming through from Winnie. Exactly what I was kind of building towards, hoping for if we're going to see Winthrop get a bit of a resurgence this series.
Ooh, no chance Rovek's flash Zenith Blades is. Oh, he's just going to walk forward and stop the back.
The
I
aura.
thought maybe if that's me on the keys, you know I'm giving my life for that one. But
I do.
I think Rovek's played a little more reserved as he's going to get caught now because there is Chookies right behind him. Winnie's just keeping Music in place as now Chookies looks to engage onto Rovex. There is a full wave here, so as long as Rovex just doesn't turn around and auto, he can walk out just fine as teleport comes in from Dark Wings. But the invade
And I will
continues.
say too, yeah, I like this move from Rovex to move up there with his jungler. You delay Darkwing's return to lane, so he does lose out a little bit as a result, and you make space for Music to be able to steal that camp.
Chookies
I
is
think
here
this
too,
is
though.
dangerous.
Yeah, okay, Music and Rovex need to get out. I like the idea, but Chookies answering kind of puts a wrench in the plan because now they don't have the number advantage anymore, and they can't just force their way into the Krug because Quacker had the wave on his side trying to get the freeze. And now, funnily enough, Quacker's wave's in an awkward spot. He's trying to get this one in. So, interesting little rotation there.
Yeah, this is a little difficult. I'm trying to see. Huh. So, it is a big enough wave. I don't think Denethor... I think it's too risky. He spends enough time out of his lane. He really needs to be there with Winnie to try and help him set up plays so they can get ahead. You're seeing Rovex recognizes this as well.
Oh, Rovex should be in trouble. Yeah, Winnie gonna see him.
Fine.
Doesn't use the Twisted Advance. They don't know where Music is, so I suppose that is the threat. As the Raptors are up, Rovex still there. We're just kind of just saying hi. We're hanging out. Blood's on a couch here, just having a good time.
Dude. I'm telling you, Rovex's aura this game. He just walks up to Dark Wings like his jungler is there. He walks up to Winnie with nobody near him as if his jungler is there.
Yeah.
They gotta respect it. I like it.
I guess, so Winnie didn't go in because he thought maybe Music's behind him. I have
He's
to
like, why is
imagine.
he walking to me
But
like
then
that?
he walks
Surely his
forward-
jungler's there.
He walks forward to confirm by checking the Raptors and will now say, yep, Lilia was the bot side, now spotted on the ward, so now Winnie knows. Can go for these grubs without contest, unless Music runs all the way up there, which it actually looks like Music is, as Rovex is fighting Chookies in the jungle. Levitate's behind him, but only level 5 on the Ashe, so not going to be that big of a threat.
Yeah, you do have the whole team here of Blue Otter rotating. I think you just got to back up if you're Winthrop University. Winnie gonna have to be happy with a single grub. Dark Wings are gonna be under a little bit of threat there from Levitate. I imagine they start walking back towards bot side, but Lilia clears these out very quickly, especially with the help of Quacker. So just that presence there in the mid lane gets 2 grubs there from Blue Otter.
There was a lot of weird stuff going on there, but at the end of the day, Levitate roamed and Aaron did not. So that means that the grubs belong to Blue Otter. They just had more members in the neighborhood. A lot of them were just hanging out mid, but still they can rotate if a fight breaks out. But Winthrop University are faster on the Dragon. Aaron gets the wave shoved in, and Levitate Rovex will catch that one while Winthrop pick up an objective for themselves. And they also got one of the grubs, so not the end of the world as the bowling ball does land. Now arrow lands from Levitate. No, it does not! Right through the goalposts. As engaged from Rovex, Tricky's turning in onto Sammykin, but nobody can follow up. Music now
that looks
pops
good.
to sleep. That's going to hit on the 2 members, and that is a kill to Levitate and a kill over to Sammykin. Blue Otter, they will not get the dragon, but they'll punish with a couple kills afterwards.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really like how often Blue Otter does something like this. So many times we see, and I complain about teams who just watch the dragon go down and don't do anything about it, but that's 2 games in a row. They go for the fight after their opponent takes the Drake, punishes them for it big time there, taking advantage of the fact that Music ticked over to level 6 before Winnie, that experience lead, that farm lead from taking Winnie's topside camps earlier on. It pays off big time, Steve, and now they find themselves in a lead once again.
Yeah, and now look at that jungle advantage. Music a full 20 camps up, went into the jungle and took away Winnie's blue buff after the dragon fight. And yeah, Winnie's very far behind here. Let's see what Music purchases on this bag. Actually, not even going for a bag. I think Music's still on the map from the play because he's got full bot camps and most of the top camps to clear up. Lily is just so fast at taking these jungle camps down.
Yeah, it's so tempting to just be a gremlin and just keep farming and keep farming. I mean, Music, there's nothing else to really play for. It's definitely fine for him to finish this side and back. I think he just wants to fully clear.
I think I agree. Like you said, there's no objectives up, and it's not like you're the comp that wants to be fighting constantly. You are happy to play a slightly slower game, wait for Rovex to be level 6, wait for Levitate to have ultimate again. So yeah, he's just going to go straight up to the top scuttle, the full clear Lilia. Somebody tell FlyQuest to take notes. This is how you play it. Just let the Lilia farm up, and you will be way far ahead of the jungle opposition. As he's now going up to the top camps there. And sit down what we like to call Rafa Gold. If you've ever played games with him. Got about 1,500 in the pocket, but this is good Rafa Gold.
What? It's
Rafa
way
Bucks,
more than that,
sorry.
Steve.
Thank
I'm
you,
so
Kai.
sorry. It's like 2,000-3,000 gold when he's playing jungle. It's just something ridiculous.
All right, well, observers, let's take a look. It's okay, 1,600. Okay, it's going to be like 1,750
He's
or something.
approaching Rafa territory.
Okay.
I'll give him that, but those are rookie numbers.
There we go.
Yeah. So,
But the Wolves, they're still the Wolves.
Yeah,
It's going to be
I
like
mean,
1,900.
I was going to say, it's still not quite what we were kind of talking about here. But I want to go back to what you were saying earlier, calling out that you like Music, staying, finishing those camps. I agree with you, Steve, because like we were saying, there's nothing to fight for. He pretty much times the back with the rest of his team, which is something Blue Water does a lot. And it gives them this opportunity where the Leandres is built. Quacker has his first item too, and they're going to be able to get to these objectives first to set it up. That next objective could very well be the next set of grubs, meaning that if Blue Water play it right, they'll have those Void Mites spawning and that extra structure damage yet again.
Okay, Chookies actually would have just died there. If Music had information that Chookies had no backup and just pops R, I think that is a dead rel on our screen, but Music will rather just go for the camps, and when he cannot get any stolen away, the grubs are now spawning, and Music is yet again gonna just run straight to them a little ahead of Winthrop's timer. This time, though, Levitate, or rather, Aaron is walking up. Quacker has teleport on the Cassante as he's shoving in bot wave. But it looks like we could maybe have a 5v5. I don't think so, though, because Darklings is heading bot too. Winthrop, yet again, a little behind on the play.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually an angle here. And that's why I like Music taking his own Raptors quickly before going for these grubs. They're stronger. They can get these whenever they want. They're just removing every little answer that Winnie and the rest of Winthrop could potentially have here. So just like that, 5 grubs in the hands of Winthrop University. We're a minute till the next Drake. And with these first items already online or about to be coming online, they're going to be in a really good spot to be able to actually pressure for it.
Dude, Music is going to have like boots completed after this one. Maybe even like half of another item. He's going in and invading right now. Winnie's looking broker than my bank account on tax day, man. Like, this guy is so far behind. And the Lilia is just not going to give him an avenue back into the game.
Like
Blue Otter pushing in the top wave as well. I mean, it's only a 3-kill game, and they're 2,500 gold up, 2,300 right now. That's just from basically jungle efficiency right there.
Yeah, it's just farm across the board. Even Quacker is doing really well into this matchup where he is supposed to struggle later on, get outscaled. But you see him up almost 20 CS. The fact that Blue Water put all those resources topside so they could get the full value out of their 5 grubs is also why we see this lead. They collected several plates there on the top side. It's almost gone. And we could see an angle where Quacker, since he's going topside, is going to be able to get that first brick.
I'm watching to see if we have any Ash Arrow action right now from Blue Otter, because yes, they don't have to make anything happen until these objectives are up, but now that the dragon is up, you could look for a pick, or you can also just spot Winnie backing right by the dragon and now say, well, okay, this is free. There's no jungler on the enemy team to contest, so Winthrop University are just going to play a very passive game early on here, and Blue Otter are feeling very comfortable because of it.
I mean, I agree with leaving this dragon because it is not yours, but I think they need to make something happen, some kind of play, because Blue Water are repeating the same play they made topside here at the bottom. They're spacing Denethor from the wave. They're using the grubs to just continue taking all these plates, and now they might kill Denethor.
Yeah, he uses the Hextech Ultimatum, and now Music is here as well. Sleep is popped, but he does get the hook shot off, and Denethor to safety. The Camille is out of there, and now Winthrop University, maybe they think that they can spring a trap here because there's a lot of members of Blue Otters there. Yeah, no Ashe ult, no Leona ult, no Lilia ult. But no hard engage from Winthrop unless Chookies can find this onto Rovex. Flash out from Rovex, sidesteps the Q and should be fine. No, Curtain Call will be the slows necessary. 1 kill picked up for Winthrop University as they will find the enemy support.
Timing is pretty good, and I like that Winthrop held a lot of their ultimates there.
Oh, Winnie wants
after the fact, levitate.
And Darkwings is here as well. Emperor's Divide could be used to just guarantee the kill. Shuffles back, flash from levitate. Forces the flash out of Darkwing, still gets the kill either way. Winthrop University, back-to-back picks.
Yeah, and again, Winthrop getting a lot of value out of their ultimates there, not using too much to ensure that they can make 2 successful plays and ensure that they're still going to be able to play for this Rift Herald here. So a really nice response and finally some signs of life from Winthrop after a very difficult game 1 and a rough start here to game 2. So now, boys, don't do this. Don't do this. Okay, we're fine, They scared me, man.
Yeah?
But it's still good, Good response from Winthrop. They have the Herald to play with. They can set him up for their next Drake, get the turret gold. You know the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice look for Winthrop, but yet again, it's Denethor playing weak side for this team. Time and time again, we see the roster, regardless of the composition that they draft, just not play towards him. As now Chookies is hanging out around here, but the wave's already gone, so I don't know if they can actually lock down Quacker. They're going to go for it, though. Hextech Ultimatum is coming off cooldown shortly for Denethor, but Quacker has Flash available. Maybe he can get away. Flashes the Crash down. Flash forward from Chookies with the Ultimate Gravity Storm, as now Denethor is in there with the Hextech Ultimatum, but Quacker is still just so tanky. I don't know if they have enough, but they just do. Can't get under turret in time. Denethor picks up the kill.
And it took a lot of time to do so. There's a chance here for Blue Water to make that dive onto Darkwings. Winnie recognizes this. Aaron is in the area as well, so I actually think it's just going to be an unresponded to play.
Yeah, but like Music's still just going straight for the invade. The other waves are shoving in, like Top's under the turret right now. It's going to go down. Darkwings will try and get his passive up, I suppose. Didn't use the Emperor's Divide right there onto Sammykin. Maybe didn't have the mana for it, actually. I'm not quite sure. It seemed like that was the idea behind the play, but we'll just back off. I think overall Blue Water are still getting more gold in their pocket through all these plays just because of how many of these turret plates they got early, how many of the turrets have now just gone down. That's 2 in a row as Denethor will trade one back.
All right, but Quacker is here now for that instant response. It is good for Winthrop to be able to get some of that gold back in their pocket. And remember, they still have a Rift Herald in their pocket to play with. We're getting close to this next Dragon spawn, and I do want to see them try and knock down this mid outer so they can open up the map a little bit, give themselves more space to set up for these neutral objectives. Because Drake stacking, still very important for these guys.
Yeah, not going to go for it, though. Instead, they're just going to back off right now, so no siege on mid for the time being. Sammykin will just get the majority of that wave, and now get out of the lane, go catch his top wave. So Sammykin's cashing in a lot of gold in this current map rotation here. Quacker's going to reset as well. Like you said, minute 15 seconds. It seems like this is the purchases. This is the items that everyone's going to have for that big fight, and it is a completed arm guard for Music over Winnie right now. That's pretty big for the Lilia, but maybe they can catch Sammy, can flash away. Winnie not able to follow up in time as now the rest of Blue Otter are trying to answer it in. Curtain Call will stall Levitate. Still has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Watch for that. Winnie trying to lock down Robex. The arrow lands onto Chookies. Ideal target for Winthrop University. Can tank up a lot of that damage. But here's Music corralling everyone behind. Aaron just pops Robex. Now looking at Levitate. Aaron did maybe save that play. The Emperor's Divide knocking back Music will guarantee that kill. Double sleep. Winnie just not in range for the damage of Sammykin. Now turns back here onto Quacker. Sammykin trying to chase them all down and will find one of them. Quacker gets the other. Chookies falls. Winnie falls. Darkwings can try and catch this wave.
Wow, Steve, this is a scrappy one. Oh my god. Quacker? Okay. We're going to walk away. There's kills going on both sides, but I think Blue Water, I think that was even, actually. Either way, Blue Water is still walking away with a bit of a gold lead coming through here. And again, we've been kind of talking about it. A lot of these plays happen away from Denethor, especially on this Camille. I am hoping to see a little more attention paid to their top laner when he's in side lane. I think this is a pretty successful play you can make very often, especially once that second item, what I think is going to be Ravenous Hydra, ends up being built. This Camille will be very strong at 2 items in 1v1s, in 1v2s, in 2v2s. I want to see Winthrop use it.
They have the current setup around the Dragon, as they will take away the Scuttle Crab. All 5 members are here. Quacker's going to push top. Wave has teleport available, but I imagine World Blue Otter's just not going to contest this. Rovix just gets some vision down and will back off to safety. So Winthrop University in game 2, faster on the Dragon takes than Blue Otter, despite giving up the first one, giving up the first couple of grubs as well. They have turned things around here in the second half of the game as of right now. Rovix in some trouble, locks down, but it's only Aaron and Chickies, and Chickies realizing it's only him and Aaron. The Jin's not going to do enough damage, and the answer from Music and Levitate is enough to get the kill.
And Music, he just keeps farming up a storm, denying these resources away from Winnie. He is just so much further ahead than this Maokai in terms of CS. Music has built that Seeker's Arm Guard as well, so he has access to the Stasis. Keep an eye out for that for this next team fight. I'm expecting him to be very aggressive, get his passive on as many people as possible, pop the ult, and then just go into Stasis to set up for the rest of the team.
Yeah, so we didn't see the Stasis used in the last fight up top side as Herald used. Winnie just used it as a tool to get on top of Sammykin and does so with the trade of his own life. And now the flank from Quacker, teleport in. Blue Otter, we're ready for the answer. Double killed over Dark Wings as Music tries to jump in there. Does hit the Stasis this time around, but doesn't have quite enough damage afterwards. Quacker and Rovix might be enough to keep him alive. But there goes Denethor, and he gets him! Winthrop University's top laner finding the kill onto the enemy jungle as Chookies will go down a 4-for-3 scrap in the mid lane.
Wow, and again, Winthrop finding a lot of these angles, but struggle in the back half of these fights. Again, I think it's Quacker twice in a row now in the back half who's able to get so much damage done. But we're going to watch this one again. I think Sammykin, this is kind of what we talk about him being less comfortable on these marksman picks. He's been picked off a couple of times now in these last 5 to 10 minutes, and it does create these disadvantageous scenarios for Blue Otter. Props to them and to Quacker especially on this Cassante for being able to get these turnarounds and ensure that they go up in kills every single time.
Props to Levitate right there for just having such a quick trigger finger onto Winnie. There's a world where Winnie gets out of there if the enemy AD carry's reaction time isn't that fast, but he just immediately gets full Ashe auto reset combo onto the AP Maokai. Pretty squishy. And I think that was a big part of why Blue Otter were able to turn that one around, gets Darkwings into a very forward position. But Darkwings did pick up a couple kills, 5, 1, and 2 now on the Azir. We talked about how this is his comfort pick. This is one of Darkwings' main things. And a fed Azir can be a bit of a problem, as we say in the industry, or any team on the receiving end.
Yeah, I agree, and you can see how far ahead of the game he is. In fact, despite all the advantages Blue Otter have, I mean, taking a look at the gold, it's Darkwings at the top of the chart, and it really shows in that itemization. He's actually really close to his 3rd item. I like that he's building Void Staff, going for the maximum DPS as well on top of the Leandries. So this Azir hurts, and he's going to be a big part of Winthrop's DPS in these team fights. You saw it in these last couple of fights. He's putting out serious amounts of damage, and he's going to keep doing that if Winthrop want to stay in it.
And you'll notice that pretty much everybody else immediately below Darkwings was blue. Blue Otter are still ahead, 4K gold. But it is Darkwings that is giving them hope, saying if we can play around this Azir, he can use just as big of a wallet as everybody on the enemy team. But, that was a big old burst from Sammykin.
Corky, man, still a good champion, despite the nerfs. And now, no.
Passive used, has the Emperor's Divide. Levitate's walking down as well. There's no wave as of yet. It's going to have to be Rovix tanking up the turret. He will walk forward. The Ashe Arrow goes wide as Darkwings with the Emperor's Divide goes straight onto Sammykin, but just doesn't have the damage, and Rovix gets out of there. Blue Otter, they used a lot of their health bars to find that, and now Winnie can try and punish Drowsy. He's going to sleep. Music with a lot of damage. Chookies with the engage! Can set up Denethor and Aaron to try and turn this play around, but Quacker goes all out over the wall. Chookies trying to punish him for being a little out of position now as Music trying to get the bowling ball over the wall. Chookies playing that one perfectly with what was left of his health bar. Find the space needed, find time as Quacker goes down.
Yeah, and that's a positive trade coming through from Winthrop University. I think Darkwings played that dive as best as you could have hoped for, putting out a lot of damage, delaying it long enough for the rest of the team to show up. We're seeing the value of the Maokai in that last team fight, that Nature's Grasp hitting so many people, and you cut down the gold lead that Blue Water have just a little bit as a result of that. Now Darkwings, he's finished the Void Staff, so even the likes of Quacker will fall to his DPS. And again, it's just going to be about Winthrop playing around him in these team fights. Remember, Steve, that last fight, it was Darkwing's V3 for a moment, and Winthrop still managed to turn it around. Imagine a 5v5 where Darkwings gets to hit the whole time.
And now imagine the next fight where Denethor is 4-0-0. Picked up 2 kills there as well.
True.
And now has finished the second item with components for a third. The Camille is scaling into this game alongside the Azir. More of a threat in that side lane, but we can see that Camille, when able to group up, still can be very impactful. See what Blue Otter's next game plan is here. We seem like we're fighting for vision around the Baron. We're close on 25 minutes, but Dragon's up. Winthrop University, it almost feels like they're just baiting Blue Otter, saying, yeah, go for the Dragon. We will go for the Baron instead, as Robex walked way too far forward to try and get that vision down. Has to flash to safety, but now Winthrop need to deal with the next tank. Quacker walking forward confidently, hit by the Maokai ult. Winnie's in the pit. He's taking a lot of damage from that Baron. Winnie!
Wow!
Out of position and goes down. Now Aaron hit by the Lilia ult. Will flash over the wall to safety, but Winthrop University have already lost their jungler, which means no contest for an objective.
Yeah, so now it's just going to be pretty easy for Blue to go ahead, send someone to fix that top wave, and go ahead and grab the second Drake of the game. We are a long way from anyone getting a Dragon Soul, but that was an unfortunate catch-up there on the side of Winthrop. I mean, they thought they had something, but the Maokai ultimate just didn't hit enough targets with Sammykin.
Oh, and now Sammykin on the squishy Corki.
Again.
Realizing that Camille can lock you down no matter what you have available to you.
Yeah.
W just will not be enough. So Denethor getting a 5th kill of the game. Winthrop University are looking like they got a lot more life in Game 2 than they did in Game 1, capitalizing on over-aggression from Blue Otter.
Yeah, and I mean, you have the teleport. The Hawkshot will reveal that nobody is actually on the Baron. Still 20 seconds on Sammykin, so there was an angle for Winthrop to try and do something. But even the threat, getting a teleport out, you could be happy about that.
Quacker just trying to stay on the map to deter Winthrop from going for a potential Baron fight. And everyone's backing off from Winthrop University to spend their gold. There's still a gold lead for Blue Otter, and the fact that they got the second Dragon means that they can try and stack those up into a Dragon Soul. Chemtech Soul, so not the absolute best, but I actually really like Chemtech on champions like Lilia in particular, the drain tanks that once they're under half health, it's even harder to kill them, and they just keep healing back up anyway, so... Actually, with this composition, not a bad one to roll.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout. So, it is still a buff that either one of these teams would be happy with. Wow, we're just going to start the Baron. I think it's just going to be a bait for the TP, or they're going to play for the turn here. I think flipping this is, I mean, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, we'll see if Denethor does go for the TP. Has a very deep ward to flank with, but the Solar Flare lands on the Winnie. And Maokai's out of the fight before it even begins. Aaron trying to follow up, Tricky's with the flash forward and the engage, but they're only on to Quacker. They've already lost the support. Denethor tried to find the angle in, and they'll get 1 kill for the effort, but that is it. The ultimate from Music lands on Amenia. Darkwings! The hero play will get 2 more kills, making it almost an even trade. There's no way Blue Otter can go for that Baron now.
No, not at all. They're just going to have to settle for pushing this next wave in. Maybe they could get this tier 2 turret down, so that will be a nice gain in gold for the side of Blue Otter. But Winthrop, they are still fighting tooth and nail in these skirmishes. And even though they lost 2 people outright before the fight actually happened, I think that's still a respectable result. Remember, that bait, the turn onto Winnie. Winnie goes down before dropping a single ability. I think he dropped the sapling. Like, that's literally it. But still, Winthrop University are able to make it happen. It's a great engage for Chookies to make space. And then there's that setup for Darkwings on the Azir. Again, very strong, very fed, able to output a lot of damage, exclamated by the ult at the end.
And Darkwings with the flash away, shuffle back in. Banana's dancing shoes to not necessarily save the play, but at least try and equalize as best as possible there. Now has 3.5 items completed with his own arm guard right there, so can go into stasis anytime he wants. And Blue Otter, while they do still have a lead, again, these scaling champions are a concern. The Camille in the side lane will be unanswerable eventually, as they've just been playing away from the Camille the whole time, as well as Azir in the team fights, just being able to do so much work.
Yeah, and I think Denethor, now that he's completed that Sterix gauge, he's going to be really hard to kill. That shield is going to make a big difference inside when going for these duels, or these 1v2s, 2v2s, and even in team fights when he's trying to frontline absorb damage for his team. That's something to keep an eye out in these coming minutes. And again, Baron going to be the big focus. I don't think either team really cares about this next Drake that much, just because it isn't anybody's soul. This Baron, though, could be the difference between a big advantage for Blue Otter and Winthrop equalizing the game.
And I'll say both teams have the DPS to go for the Dragon for Baron trade. Whether you're the Azir composition or the Lilia Ashe Corki composition, you can take those Barons very fast. Speaking of taking things fast, Music quickly getting a Flame Horizon to jungle as Rovex trying to lock down the front line of the enemy team. Chickies will take up a lot of damage as Darkwings comes in, shuffles away Quacker back into the team. He tries to all out to safety as Sammykin just doing a lot of damage in response. It's a double kill so far for Darkwings, but maybe Sammykin can get a little more done, but then Thor goes deep into the back line on the Levitate before he falls down. Double kill to Music as Sammykin flashing forward. One final rocket will get Aaron as winning the last member to live for Winthrop University. That was a tough one to call in the moment. It felt like maybe Winthrop had it, but they just don't have quite enough damage. They weren't able to layer things on top of each other. It was one man going in at a time, and it is Blue Otter walking away up in trade.
I think it's going to be the Baron as well here. Sammykin is really strong. 4 items on the Corki, and after having a really good team fight as well, it should be enough to secure the Baron for the side of Blue Otter. I didn't even think there's a world where they wait for Levitate to come back, but I guess they don't want to take any chances. Oh, we're even getting teleports to come in.
Levitate up.
They wait. Oh, yeah.
Now, there we go. Everybody gets the Rally Cry Baron buff. Congratulations, Levitate. You're part of the team. Dragon will be the focus for Winthrop University as a consolation prize, but that's really all it is. That Baron buff can push in these turrets, start the siege onto the inhibitors, as Blue Otter have a much bigger gold lead this time around, 5,500.
Yeah, really big Baron take coming through from Blue Otter. Some bright sides. Darkwings still very strong, has Zhonya's, so can go crazy in a play. You still have Winnie, who's built the Locket, has a lot of utility in his kit. We've seen time and time again in this game that Winthrop can pull out these fight wings, so it is definitely not impossible for them to make it happen.
Quacker on the backline, Ash Arrow lands as yet again it is Winnie the focus. Chickies jumps in, gets a lot of damage onto a couple members, but the turret has fallen, and Music might just burn down. Oh, the Azir didn't get enough damage onto him, so Blue Otter get out of there. 1 kill onto the jungler and the turret, but that was almost a disaster. Winthrop maybe could have turned that around.
Yeah, but the fact that it ends up working is so valuable because you said it, a kill in a tier 2, it's basically 1,000 gold into your team's pockets. And to top it all off, you got Denethor's TP where he didn't really have any impact, so that's something you can take advantage of. Winthrop University have no teleports on the map. So even though we're a few minutes away from an objective where Darkwings will likely have it back, there is still this opportunity when now, if Darkwings and Denethor show on the opposite side of the map, Blue Otter can do exactly what they did again, because they know this time for sure there will be no response. So there is that opportunity for them to make a play, and there is that danger for Winthrop to show kind of like this.
This is a little rough for Denethor here. Very out of position. No ultimate for Music, though, so maybe he can actually get out. Zed Hextech ultimate is back in with the backup of Chookies. Denethor turning the plays around. A shutdown. 2 kills to Winthrop's top laner. He's been waiting a long time for that. About to make a name for himself here. That's what happens when you give this guy that champion. Chookies is fine. I think he's out of here. Quacker's going to try and chase him down. He's going to press W, and he's good.
You're right, you're right. Yeah, okay. Still, again, this is Camille in that late game. Now 4 items, has that Guardian Angel. So now it's going to be even easier for him to go in deep and get a huge kill. And that reset, that extra bit of time, that space he's going to buy, can make the space for Darkwings. Again, to put out all this DPS. He's so strong at the moment. He's almost full build. We haven't seen him buy anything in a while, so I'm sure he's just saving so he can one-shot a death cap. I'm curious maybe how close he is going to be to that, but it would be a big spike here for the Azir. Oh, there you go. That's one rod.
4 items. Has the needlessly large rod now. 950 rather gold in the pocket still. Going to be saving that up for a second rod. As, yeah, it's going to have to be quite a while, actually. Probably another 5 minutes before you have enough gold to pick up that full death cap, depending on how many waves and how many jungle camps he gets. But Darkwings is actually clearing the jungle camp. So I think at this point, Winnie has admitted, yeah, I'm the Maokai, you're the Azir. You're the one that we need the resources on. So we'll see how quickly Darkwings gets there.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the right thing to do. And now you see he's playing with his team on his side of the map as well. So it will be a little easier for him to walk up to these waves. You want this Azir full build. He's going to be your best source of damage, constant damage, yes, in these later team fights, especially with this next dragon in a minute 20. This Soul, especially in the game state we're in, could actually be that kind of tipping point for Winthrop to get themselves back into this one.
Dragon Soul in a minute's time. How do they want to set it up? Denethor still no teleport, but Stain topside was channeling back and then canceled it and is now backing again. So it feels like Winthrop themselves aren't fully confident in how they want to approach. Step number 1 is don't die, though. Dodging out the Ash Arrow, dodging out the Lilia Bowling Ball, and they do get to safety. So they've lost wave control. Bot side, it's shoving in. Thankfully, they have members there that can catch it. But Blue Otter also have faster rotation here to mid. So the wave is going to be awkward for Winthrop if they want to just full send for this dragon and they lose it. That could just be inhibitors, if not game. But how do they want to approach? Looking at Samykin, slow is there, flash out, Denethor continues the chase. Blast Cone's available, and Samykin makes it there before Denethor can get into range, as the rest of Blue Otter are waiting in the wings.
Oh,
Samykin,
you're stressing me out, bro. Again, he's put out a lot of good numbers this game. Just caught a lot. Needs to be very careful. Denethor on a flank. Just spotted.
Yeah, that control ward's giving them a lot of information. Okay, Chucky's is actually looking for his own flank. Denethor's walking forward so that everybody positions around him, as now they have to worry about pincer maneuver from Winthrop University. But instead, Samykin's just going for the mid lane. That is Dragon Soul picked up. The rest of Blue Otter, they're somehow just taking the fight. Chucky's finally goes for the engage. Denethor's in there as well, and now Darkwings can try and clean things up with the help of Aaron. Samykin will get the inhibitor, but that is it. Blue Otter, a little split on the call. I don't know if they were just trying to 50-50 the dragon so they can also get the inhibitor, but either way, that Soul picked up for Winthrop.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
that's really bad.
Too.
Oh, that's really bad.
Oh, and then he blast goes
that
direction.
That's really bad.
Whoa, that's a lot of damage though. Misses the last rocket and will go down. Darkwings picks up the kill.
Oh, that's brutal. It was already kind of questionable with how long he stayed. Maybe there was an angle for him and Quacker to double TP into the base and just go for a backdoor. But now, a minute death timer for Samykin means this is the easiest Baron that we're going to see on the day, Steve. And it's Winthrop catching up in gold. They're in a really good position to win this game. Darkwings has the death cap. Again, Denethor is really strong. The team fight for Winthrop looks so very good. Blue Otter might be in trouble.
I mean, it looked decent for Blue Otter for like the first 3 seconds of that fight. But then as soon as Chucky's pressed the old WR combo, got a little out of hand, a little fast for Blue Otter's liking. Winthrop University are definitely back in this game with Soul and Baron, and now no gold advantage to Blue Otter. But maybe they get out of position here. Solar Flare lands in time when he does not get the Baron-powered recall off. And that means that that will be a dead jungler. 1 Baron down, 4 to go. Oh, they're using a couple ults here for that, actually. That's Lilia and Leona ult.
I mean, Lilia ult is, or rather, Leona ult's a little cooldown. I think that's fine. You go ult for Winnie, I think that's also fine. But yeah, you're going to lose these turrets anyway. So I do like that they're trying to make something happen as a response. And now, oh my god, they want more.
Okay, flank comes in.
Oh, can he ult?
Whacker's looking for it, can't get the all out. Tries to flash away, goes down before he can even press the R button. That is the threat of the late game Camille damage. She will just shred you.
Yeah, great defense from Denethor and Chukis to make sure Aaron doesn't get kidnapped over the wall by the all-out. Could have been a big pickup here, but instead, Quacker ends up paying his life for it, as well as his flash. Steve, now we have this map state that's flipped from what it's been like throughout most of this game, and it's that Winthrop are the ones who have all lanes pushed in. They're the ones who are setting up vision on Blue Water, in Blue Water's jungle. They're setting up these traps. With this Elder Dragon coming up in a couple minutes, they maintain this advantage. I think you get the best buff in the game and take us to Game 3 tied up.
And I talked about it a little bit during Champ Select. I'm going to bring it up again now. When we talked about Rookie of the Split, one prominent rookie was not brought up very often for the regular season performance. Denethor did not have the best debut, but this game is why we were excited about this player, why I was excited about this player coming into the league. When he will flash away from the Enchanted Crystal arrow right there. But look what Denethor can do when you give him the resources and you give him one of his comfort picks here. Just absolutely steamrolling the side lane and showing up in these team fights. A big reason why the earlier fights didn't go as bad for Winthrop along with Dark Wings is now the siege continues, and they are in firm control of this game. Curtain has been called. Rovek's going to have to tank up all those shots. That inhibitor is gone.
I really want to give a quick shout out too for Denethor for the build that he's going for. I like that Abyssal Mask. He's going to be jumping in there anyway, so reducing the MR, the flat MR of members of Blue Water is so good for Dark Wings. Again, that recognition that he is the big damage on the team, just making it so that your main carry gets as much damage off as possible. Plus, also, you know, it has MR.
Also gives you more MR the more people are affected. So you jump in, you're buffing up your Azir, and you're also making yourself much more unkillable. And it's very cheap item, so quick full build here for Denethor, as he's going to be threat with the rest of the team now. Everyone's gone in the bottom side of mid lane as the arrow lands now onto Chukis. Full engage in. That's going to be a dead roll. Potentially does live through it, as it's actually a Rovex that pays the price. A nice look for Blue Water, but Winthrop support will survive.
Woo, barely. But of course, despite the nerfs, we are still in a Warmog's meta, so Chukis is going to get all his health back, and they're going to go ahead and start the siege off round 2. And if they are able to get this inhibitor, it would be a very difficult spot for Blue Water to be in. It's already a tough spot. We're a minute from this Elder Drake. Blue Water have barely been able to leave their base these last 3 minutes, Steve. And now, strongest dragon in the game is going to be available very, very soon.
Everyone from Winthrop are resetting, and that means Blue Water need to get these waves under control if they want any chance of contesting. Mid waves burned through as Samikin went straight to bottom wave. I like that call from Blue Water's mid laner, as now the rest of the jungle camps will try and be cleared here from Music. As long as we don't get picked off while clearing these waves, Blue Water actually have a small window here where they will have a little control on the rift, but Samikin's backing. What what we're backing for right now. I mean, Dragon's up in 30 seconds. Are you going to sell boots? We are selling boots. Okay. It looks like Samikin's just going to go for the full 6 items.
Yeah, I mean, the gap close is so good for the members of Winthrop, so he must not feel that the move speed is really going to be that important for him. Instead, he's going for that shield bow, that extra bit of sustain to get another rotation of spells, hopefully. He is very strong, does a lot of damage, so that could end up being the difference here.
Look at this setup, though. Denethor solo top lane, and Quacker cannot solo him. So that means that Samikin was hovering as well. Bot wave shoving in. They got to clear that. Winthrop have 4 members on the Elder currently on your screen. Winthrop have such a solid macro setup right now, and Blue Water might just be looking for a Hail Mary at this point. As now the engage comes through, Chukis finds it, and that's just going to be 1, make it 2 dead for the side of Blue Water. The Lily ult does go through. Big damage from Music to turn around the play, but Samikin locked down by Denethor, who will just one-shot him. Music's going to have to do a lot of work here with the help of Quacker, but Denethor does not want that to work out for them. Flashing on to the enemy jungler. Denethor is him right now. Oh, misses though. Music is
so fast.
Away. He's taking so much burn damage from the Lilia. Oh, Music with the outplay. Denethor almost had him, but Lilia is such a hard champion to lock down. Curtain has been called. There we go. Denethor finds it in the end.
Wow, he's stalled out for quite a while, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering. I have a feeling Winthrop are going to be able to secure this one. We're going to watch this replay again. This is a great angle. Chukis, nice flash, great engage setup here for the substitute for Winthrop University in this series. Just gets the instant burst combo. And yeah, it looks good for Blue Otter, but again, Denethor is impossible. There is simply no answer for this Camille. And it's just been the thorn in the side of Blue Otter this entire game.
And the fact Music survives this is kind of crazy. At least for as long as he does, but that's just... Oh, look at that movement speed burst!
Look at the moves!
Look at the moves! Look at him go. But Denethor does... I mean, look at that. He's hitting these hook shots on corners I didn't even know were on the Rift. That didn't even look like it was connected to anything right there, but that is a Camille Savant on your screen. 12, 3, and 5 on the champion. Sold his boots as well. Winthrop University picked up the Elder Dragon onto 2 members and are now on to the Baron, and I think the Blue Otter are just going to let them take it. There's really no way that they can contest, which means it'll either be a pick on a champion out of position for a rotation, or it'll just be a defense under Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Elder Dragon as well as this Baron buff, so Steve Winthrop, they got everything they need to put this game to bed. We wanted to see signs of life from this team. We wanted to see more from 3/5 of this year's CLOL champions in Winnie Darkwings and Aaron, and you know what? They showed it to us.
Yeah, I do agree, as at least the Blue Otter push out the bot wave all the way out. They'll only have to fight these super minions pushing mid alongside regular minions up top lane, but make no mistake, this should be 3 inhibitors down on the side of Blue Otter. Winthrop University playing this one safe, playing it slow, playing it for the siege with the minions as the inhibitors are actually respawning. So mid and bot just back up as Winthrop will try and knock them down immediately.
I was going to say, oh, they respawn, so that means they can be broken all in sync. It's so nice because remember, Elder Dragon still for a minute. Winthrop, all they need is Winnie to pull the trigger and they can close this out.
They need Shookies maybe to just go for the big engage. As Rovex gets heavily chunked. I mean, you got to go back to the fountain at this point. When they have that Elder Dragon, it's not worth the attempt. And there's no more waves right now. So Winthrop University, they're going to have to wait for this next mid wave to hit. Still no supers, but they will catch up. Look at top wave. That's where it's probably going to come in from. Blue Otter underneath the Nexus turret. Solar Flare does not quite land as Maokai Ultimate locks everybody into place. Just poke damage from Darkwings might be enough on its own. Rovex they need to look for the big engage. With no Solar Flare, you have to throw your body forward. Flashes to safety, but there's just nowhere safe left. Their turrets are falling. Denethor gets on.
There we go.
To levitate, and that is game. 1-1 on the scoreboard. Winthrop strike back.
They do it in fantastic fashion as well. Things were looking a little dicey early on with how well Blue Otter were finding some advantages in the early game, but made some really nice plays. A great game from Denethor on the Camille, and a few punishments on to Sammykin, who found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time a number of times. Got them this win, and the series tied up. You know what that means, Steve? We're guaranteed to see Best of 5 Fearless, the new format, because we have to at least have 4 games.
No sweep in sight for the side
That's
of
right.
Blue Otter. And for a reminder, the first 3 games are normal Fearless draft, but by the time the 4th game comes around, each team only gets 3 normal bans. Because at that point, we already have 30 champions that are not available to be played. And then going into that game 5, if it happens, there's no bans at all, and it's just the 40 Fearless bans from earlier in the series. Very fun format to have. But speaking of fun, let's talk about the player that stood out as player of the game. I think that there's arguments for who this could go to. Darkwing's a great one, though. 11, 5, and 11 on the Azir. You say no. You don't think Denethor's got any I
think Denethor had a good game, but I think he doesn't get to play the game that long if Darkwings doesn't play the way he does. There are so many plays where he put the most amount of damage possible. He stalls enough time for the rest of his team to show up and make it a winning play. And I bet if we check the damage charts, I mean, with a 1.6k DPM, he must have had most damage in the game by a country mile. I think he deserves so much credit for this game. And it makes sense because he is a player who is a big key to this team's success, both in the early game and this game, in this case, the late game.
On one of his comfort picks, playing one of the best games that he's had this summer split. Congratulations to Darkwings for picking up player of the game. With that said, it's 1-1 on the scoreboard, which means that when we return from this break, we will have a new format for our full Fearless Best of 5. We get at least that game 4. We'll be right back after a short break for game number 3.
Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same toxic chemical that's used in taxidermy? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde.
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 Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Here's a fact that'll stop you in your tracks. Teens who vape can be exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. Know the real cost. With the end of the regular split, the voting has begun for the Summer Split Awards. Each role will have their top 3 performers honored in the All-Pro teams. The player who had the best performance in their first split of Challengers League competition will earn themselves the Rookie of the Split Award. The most improved player has shown the most growth of anyone in the league in the Summer Split, and we've seen a number of players show marked improvement this year. And lastly, the most coveted award, the Most Valuable Prospect. It's awarded to a player who could play at LCS now and would look even better in their second year. Many of the previous winners like Dokla, Lucio, and Masu have gone on to be fan favorites in the LCS. And for the first time ever, we might have a repeat winner. Players, casters, and co-streamers will be submitting their ballots. Who do you think deserves to be recognized? With full Fearless Best of Fives right around the corner, always remember, the future of the LCS starts right after the LCS.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are preparing for Game 3 of our first Best of 5 series here in NACL Summer Split. Full Fearless means that because it's 1-1 on the scoreboard, we will get at least to that round 4, which means it will only have 3 bans between each teams. We're going to have a lot of League of Legends champions off the table here, Beat.
Yeah, we are, and already we're getting to that as we head towards Game 3. But let's look at the breakdown for Game 2. Just overall, see how things shook out in terms of stats. And like I said before the break, Darkwings, I mean, just by a mile, had the most amount of damage. And this is part of why I was telling you, Steve, I mean, he was just player of the game. I'm sorry, man. I don't make the rules.
Well, you did vote for it, and I didn't get mine in a time. But you know what? After looking at this, I don't know if I would argue with that statement anymore. That is a lot of damage for the Azir, and you're right that he was the one with the gold lead throughout the majority of the game, keeping them in it. And you can see from the gold graph, it was a Blue Otter game for the majority of it up until, I'm trying to remember exactly which fight that one was. Was that the right before Elder Dragon? Yeah, I want to say it was around that time. Before. Yeah, and from that point, it was just all over. That was Winthrop in the driver's seat. They had the Elder Dragon. They're able to take down inhibitors, get the Baron, take down more inhibitors, end the game.
And I'll tell you what, when I was talking to Darkwings today going into this match, something he had mentioned was that his goal for the team was always to have that big impact, to, you know, do the most that he can to ensure his team gets wins, and he feels that he did not achieve that goal this split, especially when you consider Winthrop's fall in the last 3 weeks of the regular season play. Well, I'll tell you what, Darkwings, he had a great amount of impact in that second game. You got to imagine that if he continues stepping it up the way that he did, we could see that upset and Winthrop taking the series.
It is weird to say it would be an upset, considering the last time these two faced off against each other, it was Winthrop with the 2-0. But the fact that the end of each of their splits were so polar opposite. Winthrop's win was the beginning of their loss streak. Blue Otter's loss was the beginning of their win streak, up until their upper bracket match against Supernova. So the rematch felt like momentum-wise was firmly Blue Otter's side, but history did show that Winthrop got the better of this team in the past.
Yeah, I think Blue Otter, like, sucked their soul with that loss or something. Because it is really funny that they both went on 3-game streak. One of them was winning, one of them was losing. Blue Otter, of course, starting that legendary run towards the end of that summer split, beating TLC and FlyQuest. Both matches, we all expected them to lose. So, you know, well played.
Well, let's get an update for everybody at home as to the champions that are no longer available in Full Fearless Draft. Game 1, you can see all the champions locked in. Game 2, you can see all the champions locked in, which means you will not see those champions for the remainder of this best of 5.
That's right. So there's still plenty of options available for both of these teams to pick out, but a lot of comfort is out of the picture. I mean, we talked about Darkwings Azir, Denethor's, Camille, to name some. And now we're going into this next game. I think something that's going to be interesting is, again, like, I'm looking at mid lane. Samikin pulled out the Corki. Not the greatest look from him so far, and I think that's been the story of kind of both of these mids this split, where in this marksman meta, they weren't able to have the most amount of impact. They're usually more comfortable on the mages. Darkwings even says Samikin is very similar to him in that specific regard. So now that the Corki's out of the way, I'm wondering if we just see mages for the rest of the series. I still think there are plenty of options. Syndra, something Darkwings has been a big fan of so far this split. Lissandra, something he's played quite a lot in the past, and it's a champ that I have been begging for these last couple patches. I think it has angles. I think it's good. Maybe we'll see it today. Samikin likes the Hwei, things like that.
I've heard rumblings of the Lissandra coming back. Are you a believer?
Good. I'm a believer.
Okay.
In the right situation, I'm a believer.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to hold out my belief or my faith yet, but, you know, I'll back you up. I'll trust in your opinion here for now. It is Udyr and Darius banned away to start off. 2 focuses on Quacker. If we want to round it all out, it'd be something like an Olaf here to close things out. Yeah. But Gnar and Lucian taken away on Blue Otter's side. And there it is. Yeah. All right, so we are just saying Quacker's not going to get the Quacker champs.
It's going to be really interesting to see what things are like in Game 4 and potentially Game 5, because some of these champs that are just perma out of the way are going to be up and available. I mean, it's worth noting Gnar taken away from Denethor. We talk about him not getting nods for rookie of the split, but it's not like he had a particularly bad split, especially on the Gnar. I think it was the Champions. He's had a consistent amount of good performances on. If we get to that game 5, I think that's a pick that he can look forward to having too.
I'm trying to think here the strategy for why. I mean, the Gnar, Lucian, Zeri makes a little more sense from Blue Otter side, but if you're focusing so hard on top lane bans in the first rotation, it makes me think, okay, Blue Otter's red side, they're going to try and counterpick top. You could save some of those for the second rotation. Maybe they lock in a top laner early here for Winthrop University to free up something like a support counterpick later on instead, but it's going to be Varus picked first for Winthrop. Presumably in that bot lane, although theoretically that could go anywhere. I mean, we've seen it in other leagues go top lane, go mid lane, depending on how creative Winthrop want to get.
100%. I'm pretty sure Darkwings is also one of the ones to play it in the mid lane. We have seen it mid lane so far this split. I want to quickly add, I think Gnar ban at this point is fine because Denethor is usually getting his top pick very early in most of the drafts that Winthrop are in. I think it's just in recognition of that. They don't want to let that one through. But Music, in response, is going to get the Sejuani, something I think he has had a lot of great games on this split, and it's something that just offers you a lot of facilitation and setup for your team.
Ooh, and pair it with something like an Ezreal. There it is. Most likely for a Levitate there in the bot lane means that they have the potential for a support to free up and roam around with the Sejuani, or just play a more traditional front to back by the time these objectives start to come up, because Sejuani is just fantastic engage and space maker for the front line.
Yeah, I'm curious too if we're going to see a melee pairing with the Sejuani. The usual suspects in top lane are gone. Rumble, Renekton, Cassante, Darius and Olaf are banned. I'm wondering if this is a setup for, well, I mean, if it was anyone other than Samikin, I'd say maybe we see like a Yone mid, maybe a Yone top. But it's just not something I associate with Samikin in really any way, shape, or form, and really Quacker as well. But maybe they have something spicy planned for that regard. Maybe they just want to use Sedge for all her all-in and engage potential.
Ooh, well, I mean, talk about engage. The answer to that is counter-engage. Ivern, the jungler, locked in for Winnie here, providing lots of shields for the team, as well as Daisy. Talk about space makers. That's one of the most annoying space makers in the game. Because it's just completely non-committal. And if this is locked in, Blue Otter lock-in, so Bard. This is going to be a very interesting game. There's a lot of creative tools on both teams that are not as traditional for like a classic front-to-back or wombo combo style of game.
Well, I will say, something I like about the Bard in particular in this case is that when you're playing with something like the Ivern, you're really good at making space for your carries. You need alternate angles. You need flanks to be able to set that up. I think Bard is one of the best champs to do that with that magical journey, creating another angle of engage, or just using that Tempered Fade to get you the perfect entrance that you particularly want. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to Rovex to impact this early game and be huge in these team fights.
And also, I mean, we just saw it in the LCS. If you're watching the series between Dignitas and NRG, the Bard ult into the Sejuani timed ult immediately out of it. So they do have the ability to catch people out of position and find engage from very long range with this pick as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we're seeing a couple of bans come
Jackson Gwen. That's 5 top lane bans against Quacker.
That's their, oh my god, that's their whole... They're just trying to pinch Quacker's pool.
Yeah.
And I mean, considering this is a strategy, especially when you get later on into Fearless, because you have the potential to be able to pinch out a specific player and now say, okay, man, what do you got? 5 top lane champs, 6, since we're counting Gnar, are out of the picture here. You even considering the fact that Renekton's out, Rumble's out, Camille's out. This is insane.
I actually think if I'm Blue Otter, I would have rather picked top lane at that point and then give a counterpick to Samikin. Because things like the Zoe were up, and we see Aaron hovering that, kind of taunting Samikin. Zoe is his most played champion, but because they are not giving the counterpick to Denethor, it will be Ornn for the top laner of Winthrop University. Back to a more standard tank style.
Could be
as
I
look
think it's
at
Syndra.
these hovers. You're talking about the Syndra? I think that makes a lot of sense. Maybe more than the Akshan, who's more about playing for himself in the lane. Tristana would be...
You need magic damage. I think Tristana is not the pick. I mean, you do have Ornn with double marksman and double marksman with the Ivern. So there is there's an angle for that to really work out for them. They do scale well. They do have a lot of damage, but armor is also so valuable this game.
It is very valuable. I mean, you're going to be going for an LDR quite early here on the Tristana,
Portal
probably
reminder,
just
you
second
mean?
item at this point.
on,
But
bro.
if this Aatrox locked in, I love it. Mordekaiser's interesting too. You're talking about the melee combos with the Sejuani.
Yes.
Both of these would fit that bill.
Wow.
And it's Mordekaiser for Quacker. All right, Denethor, you're going to Brazil.
Yeah, that's right. Not to be confused, of course, with Brazil these teams are playing for. Quacker, he gets pinched out pretty hard. 7-8 champs not available for him here, but he still digs deep and says he's got something else in his pocket. So the Mordekaiser is definitely an interesting one because you do have that opportunity to avoid ganks by isolating people with your ultimate. You do have a great objective setup because if you pull something like the Ivern or the Ord into the Death Realm, you're going to remove some of these space creation tools in team fights. I think Blue Otter's comp is going to be a little harder to play, and you definitely get outscaled. So there is a lot of pressure for them this game to be able to find some of these early advantages. You look at Sejuani with the Talia, that is a really strong combo that you can make a lot of plays with, and I think Blue Otter are going to lean towards that to get a lead.
And sometimes the Ord engage is a little too, visible. As soon as you press R, you know that it's coming. It's a little scripted. So the Rakan can sometimes do that primary engage. If Rakan goes in and Mordekaiser just presses R on you, you're probably just going to die in that Death Realm and not accomplish very much for your team. He needs to have the go in button as well as the get back out buttons. Much squishier engage support. So we're loaded in to game number 3 between Winthrop University and Blue Otter. Let us know in chat. Spam who you think is going to take it. And a reminder that we do have live NACL finals. Tickets are live now at lcs.tixr.com. Go check them out if you want to come support the players and say hi. Ooh, invade. Winthrop University are going to spot it. Oh, okay. Blue Otter don't want to commit to it. Interesting. I guess maybe because Levitate wasn't with them, they're a little afraid. But are we going to see any action here? Both teams feel like they are confident that they have the stronger level 1. Levitate gets hit by the explosive charge. Now Darkwing's taking good damage from him. Traded right on back. Nobody's going to go down. We're just having some fun, level 1.
Ooh, I like this move from Blue Otter because you use your poke to basically walk them down into the mid lane. You get your vision set up, so you have an idea of Winnie's path and where he's going to be in this early game. You even clear out the vision that they dropped with the exception of that one ward that Levitate and Rovex are walking by. So I think this is a fine start there for Blue Otter. It's probably everything they could have hoped for. And again, this comp for them, scaling is definitely going to be a problem. If they don't want to go down 1-2, again, this Sejuani Talia combo, they're going to need to be able to find a lot of advantages in this early mid game.
I'm happy that the observers took some time there to highlight the mid lane matchup because it was Darkwings that traded health bar with the Levitate, which means Sammykin has a health bar advantage in that mid wave as level 2 hit by Chickies and Aaron here. Oh, Levitate getting aggressive, jumping further forward as they're splitting damage between Aaron and Chickies. Seems like Rovex and Levitate were not on the same page there as to who they wanted to go for a kill on. Aaron will get back to the safety of the turret, but is very low health bar now.
Yeah, really nicely done there from the bot lane of Blue Otter. It is double range. Dodging out on that grand entrance just guarantees you get a lot of advantage here. But still, Winnie, you're playing the Ivern. Just going to go ahead and smite away the blue buff. Set up the Gromp. He's actually going to recall because he's not actually going to be able to take that.
He's got the second smite, so he saved both smites. He got the one
Oh,
and
no,
the
he
2.
did do it.
Yeah, while backing,
right.
he just hit the smite. I was watching the timer on it. That was perfectly timed by Winnie. Preps 5 camps. Wow, what a clear from the Ivern. Music's like, oh, come on. And now Winnie's going towards the bottom camps first because he knows that Music's going to be on that side looking for the invade.
Of course, and I like that he's doing the red first because at this point, like, all he has to do is touch these camps and it's done. Music, instead, recognition of this, he's going to slink his way towards the top side and get his consolation prize, that is the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
Really nice open for Winnie, who honestly, this is a champion he has been pretty comfortable with, has had a lot of good games on at this split. And I think this is a great opening. It shows that experience.
I think that Music should get both Scuttles here, but it's hard for Ivern to get a Scuttle Crab anyway. And yeah, the fact that he was able to clear out 2 of Music's camps is just massive. A lot of that because of the bot lane aggression as well. They were too busy fighting each other to try and check if an Ivern was in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you would have expected like that.
Music's not going for the bot scuttle. Interesting. He's instead going straight for the Raptors.
I think it's more important for him to get his respawn camps, to be honest. It's going to be tough for him to actually contest this one.
That was an Ignite on a Rovex, who has Flash available. No heal, though. Here's Winnie. Flash from Rovex. Means that it's just the Summoner spell forced. Oh, Rocket Shove.
Hello.
Dark Wings pulled back. Seismic Shove, big damage. Sammy wins the trade.
Yeah, something I will say, Dark Wings, I mean, we talk about both these players not doing very well on most marksman champion. I will say the exception for Dark Wings is the Tristana. He almost always looks good on this champion, even in last year, when it really just wasn't. We didn't see some of the best play from Dark Wings in 2023, Steve, except when he was playing Tristana. That was one of those moments where it's like, oh my god, is he back? I will say very comfortable, competent on this pick.
I remember one Crazy Azir play. That was fun.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That probably happened.
But yes, I'm happy that you highlight that because it is one thing that he feels comfortable on. So far, it is still Sammy getting slight leads in these trades 1v1 against him. And this he'll help take the wave there. Chucky's roaming nearby. Seismic Shove flashed by Dark Wings, getting aggressive with the backup.
Oh, wow.
Of Chucky's. That's first blood.
That was really nicely done there, both from Chucky's and Dark Wings. Really no response available to Samikin. So that's already an early advantage here on this marksman, getting that first blood. You're going to accelerate this Tristana to just continuously become a problem this game. Early games all coming up Winthrop.
Yeah, I love that roam from Chucky's. The fact that Dark Wings is willing to flash to get the flash out of Samikin means that there's no escape from the Rakan follow-up. And right as you're saying it, that's the opposite of a caster curse. That was a caster bless right there. Dark Wings benefited with a Vampiric Scepter coming back into lane. That poke from the Talia is going to be way more manageable from this point.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the nerfs, Fleet, Absorb Life, D-Blade, all that together, yeah, this lane just became a lot harder for Samikin to actually have any real impact. Now, though, you have the level 6 on Quacker. There is the chance for Winnie to try and sneak away one of these grubs, but both mid and top moving up to threaten means it's going to be the first set going over to Music.
Yeah, I think it's way too scary to walk up as Winnie because you just get pulled in to the Death Realm by Quacker.
No Daisy, too.
Yeah, well, only level 5 despite the very fast early clear. Music has been able to equalize and come back into this game. Oh, what a Cosmic Binding from Rovex right there. As well as the Magical Journey gets to safety, but Winthrop University gets to the Dragon early, and they have the Ivern plants. Okay, I wonder where they are. Oh boy.
Who knows, man? We'll never know.
Oh, they want to peel off for the fight, though. They actually do not want to commit to the objective, which buys time for Music to jump in here. Samikin as well. Oh, almost caught Dark Wings during the jump. I don't know if that was buffered, if Dark Wings got it off before the Seismic Shove happened, because I don't see a lot of damage on the health bar, but either way, Dark Wings gets out of there.
I mean, I'm a little surprised they don't just burst the Drake. Instead, they try to trade. Because they're split, they have to walk away from it. But in the end, that's no Dragon. I will say Music has this bit of an experience advantage. Securing all 3 grubs definitely helps. And because there's no bot side camps for Winnie, that actually gives Blue Otter the opening to secure this Drake. Access to that Glacial Prison. It's such a big deal when you don't have the Daisy up.
Let's see if there's any contest at this point. Mid lane.
Winnie's level 6 now.
Going to be walking down. Has the Daisy at this point. Went towards the Wolves, picked them up, but that Dragon is getting bursted way too fast for the Ivern to have a chance of stopping it. As Chucky's does not land the engage under Rovex. Now he's focused down. Talked about it earlier. Rakan engage, squishy champion. If you do not find your big knockup, you might just die, and he did just that.
Wow, unfortunately, that's kind of the opposite of what Blue Otter were doing in the last 2 games, Steve, being able to get that exchange for the Drake. Instead, Blue get the Dragon, and Winthrop also donate a kill. Maybe 2.
Big damage on the Dark Wings here. Samikin in around with his food here. Winnie will have to show up to help out the mid laner. But yeah, I mean, to the point that you were going on there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, he's good. Never mind. There's too much action happening here. Make your own point, Beat.
I mean, Quacker, some alone time on the top side. did manage to force Denethor back, is able to get a couple of plates and has this natural advantage. That's going to be really nice because at least in side lane, it's going to be really hard to deal with Quacker on this board. And again, even though I think Winthrop have a lot of great ways to fight it out in that mid to late game, I think Mordekaiser, and also in a way, the Bard, can kind of break up these team fights in different ways with their ultimate. So there's still chances for Blue Water to play it out later on. It's just a little harder. There's that execution.
There is execution. But it's a cool point to bring up. There's such creative tools between both these teams. The Ivern's already something very creative as a champion. It just does something that really nobody else in the game is able to do, alongside the Bard and the Mordekaiser, which means that we'll have to keep our eyes on how creative these players can be with the champions at their disposal. I will say, if you are an Ivern jungler, or rather just a jungler in general, trying to learn about Ivern, watch the first 5 minutes from Winnie's perspective, take notes of how to play him.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to play against Ivern, watch Music from 5 minutes onward and take notes, because Music has done a fantastic job of getting back into this game after a very rough start, having 2 camps taken away.
I gotta say, we gotta give some credit to his laners for that. I might need to hold that thought, because we're not allowed to make points.
Oh, Seismic Shove misses onto Darkwings, but lands onto Chuckies, who battle dances to safety, but still at half health bar. Be in a rough spot, have to go for a reset. I don't think there'll be any more action, though. Maybe just an invade from Music here onto the Wolves.
Oh, but he has ult, remember.
As I say that, yeah, Glacial Prison was not used. You're not going to use it here. Darkwings is actually safe.
The grubs are up. Yeah, and to your earlier point again, I think Music's ability to be able to come back, I think there's some credit to his laners. And Samykin did die, but since then, he has managed to get some pretty good advantages in his lane. Like, look what he's doing now.
Ooh. Rovex gets a stun, but Darkwings gets out of there. Grubs are still the focus. Denethor is finally going to see some action. He's been waiting this whole time. Can he actually get the fight started? The Grubs are secured. Quacker could be in trouble. Has flash available. Here comes Chuckies. Pulls Chuckies into the death realm. Welcome to Brazil, Rakan. Now going to walk right on back towards the rest of the team. Rovex probably communicating. Stay by the wall. Ooh, just flashes away as soon as he comes out of the death realm.
Oh my god!
Quad pullback. I don't know if the team was ready, but
Music!
They were ready! Darkwings flashes to safety, but how safe is he? There's the Weaver's wall. Samykin catches him out. Denethor stunned up. Quacker's still alive, but what was that? Aaron was just unfocused the entire time. We even forgot about him. He finally goes down. Blue Otter find 3 members out of the fight.
Wow, that sequence was really nicely done from Blue Otter. A lot of things went well for them. I think the thing I really liked most about this one is the choice to ult Chuckies, just to ensure he doesn't get hit by the Call of the Forge God. But watch Rovex. Again, the way Rovex can mess with these fights is so interesting compared to other champions. So you see this, there is that bait with that magical portal to make them think, oh, this is surely where he's going. But instead, Quacker flashes out, sets up for a big cosmic binding, a big pull. And Blue Water, they know their limits, man. They know this is a fight they can win.
Aaron teleported in. I was like, I didn't even see Aaron in the fight.
Teleport.
I was looking at the Weaver's wall. Aaron was looking to be the hero of the play and instead just gets punished. And it was actually 4 that went down because Chuckies respawned by the time Aaron fell. That was a massive team fight win for Blue Otter and maybe a little unnecessary from Winthrop.
For sure. It looks... There are a couple moments in that fight, they do look so good for Winthrop, so I can kind of see the angle that they're expecting, but Blue Water are just too good at skirmishing. I just got a clear understanding of their comp, how it works, and how they want to win these fights, and that rewards them with a 2,500 gold lead. Priority on this next Drake. You see Music ticking over to level 9 as well. I mean, considering how the first couple of minutes went, it's a great comeback from Music.
About 20 CS up over his jungle opponent as bot lane. Okay, Darkwings is able to sidestep that one, but taking big chunks of damage from these Qs. Ooh, threaded volley doing a lot there. Chuckies looking to make the play. Flash from Samykin. And the Seismic Shove sidestepped by Chuckies.
It does cost Samykin his flash. So that is something that they could try to punish in these coming minutes. But Blue Otter, while all that is taking place, Steve, Drake number 2, Blue Otter, halfway to a Dragon Soul, and look at that. After 2 games of so-so souls, we have the Hex Soul. Probably the best in the game.
Souls.
So, you know, pretty
So-so,
pretty okay,
yeah.
situational. You know, there's value in the right circumstance. Hex Soul, you want that all the time.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
game, I don't care what the comp is. It doesn't matter. Give it to me.
Arguably the best. Extra damage plus slows, that is crazy. Not to mention the wave clear as well, so...
Oh, yeah.
It's stacking early for Blue Otter. Can they keep it stacking, or will Winthrop University find an avenue in to take one of those away? So far, every lane is a little ahead. There's no massive leads as of yet. Sammykin over Darkwings is probably the biggest lead that we see at this point in the game. But we are just dancing around in the river here. Blue Otter seem like they're trying to siege mid lane potentially, but hard to clear the waves against the Varus.
I will say, this is a point in the game, too, where Blue Otter are quite strong. You can see a lot of first items coming through, even though Music has that cheaper first item there with the Zeke's Converge. It's still really good on the Sejuani. Even Sammykin just fully stacked his Archangels. This is that moment where these next couple of minutes, unless Winthrop gets some kind of numbers advantage, Blue Otter can kind of do whatever they want. Try and focus down on getting first brick, knocking down some of these structures, so they can continue to snowball this lead. This is how they want their comp to go.
Actually, I feel like Music could have just let Darkwings back there. You were just talking about it. Taking turrets would be the name of the game. Darkwings was willing to back off of the turret, but will now instead save the turret. As the Herald has spawned and no one's on that side of the map, no one's even looking at it. We're fighting over jungle camps. When you're against an Ivern, this is a possibility. Chucky says, I will back up my Ivern. The Blast Cone, I like how Chucky's is playing this so far. There's not a lot of damage nearby. Music, and Robex might have just doomed him to die. Teleport coming in from Darkwings. True Shot Barrage will not be enough damage. As that is a kill. Now Seismic Shove here. Quacker completed the teleport as well. But no, he's dead. Double kill to Aaron. I think he was channeling the ultimate, but it must not have gone off in time.
No, because remember, Denethor was using the Bellowing Breath, so he's unstoppable. You can't pull him into the Death Realm. So
incredible.
Really nicely done there from Denethor. And overall, I mean, we're TPing to kind of a doomed play. I think you let Music go, you call it a day.
Yeah.
It was a nice move there from
You just don't even go for that. You just don't have damage near you here.
I think at this point, it becomes very difficult. You should have the info that Aaron has backed off. But queuing forward here is kind of what dooms it. There was an angle where after this play goes, if they secure that red buff, they could have gone for the Rift Herald themselves. But look in the picture-in-picture.
Okay. We do see that the Herald goes down. No one's picked it up, though, and Winnie flashes away. So Winthrop University get
no
the
eye
credit for the kill, but no eye picked up. The objective is laying on the Rift.
That feels kind of bad, but I still think you're pretty happy denying that one away from Blue Otter. I think they would have benefited from getting that Herald much more greatly than Winthrop University. So, you know, it feels bad. Kind of sucks, but I'll still call that a win.
You know what? You can do that.
I will. You can't stop me.
Music is going back towards the jungle clear at this point to try and keep up the tempo. Winnie has been getting a little bit back into it, but not quite. The Herald would have been a big pickup for them, but we saw there, not actually picked up. Robex back is stopped. Everyone's resetting. Dragon up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Nice little zoom in there. Is it? Wait, does that Bard? I play a lot of Bard. I never noticed. Does he have little penguins with him?
Those are the Meeps, brother. His passive.
Oh my God, I've never even noticed that.
Oh,
I use this skin too. Maybe that's only the Prestige version.
Hey, you know what, Steve? Get off. I'm solo casting the rest of
No,
this game.
I'm going to pretend that that's only the Prestige version, so that way I don't look as silly.
All
okay,
right,
everyone
you tell
knows
yourself
Elderwood
that.
Bard is actually the best Bard.
Yeah, me when I'm coping. Nice one, man.
Oh yeah, hard cope. For sure. 45 seconds for Dragon, though. Let's talk about that, because the setup is here for Blue Otter. They have more members around the area, yet to really establish a vision line, but they're forcing Winthrop to walk into them if they're trying to approach through either the river or the mid lane.
Yeah, so it is good for Blue Otter. They do have that first move here, and it, on top of having that mid-tier one taken down, they can push this next wave. Just walk down for the setup. And right now, Sammykin, the other side of the map, can join with TP, can join with that Weaver's Wall. The way he's walking down, I think he's going to hold on for the TP. We may have a 5v5 on our hands. Daisy has popped out.
In instances like this, I actually like using the Talia Weaver's Wall
as
just a way to block off the enemy approach. Like, you can throw it right here. if you're already on the dragon, it's about half health, you can block the engage option because then Aaron can't get in. Only Chookies could, but Denethor's actually the one starting things off here. Blue Water seem a little split. Music was not with everybody else. The Ivern brushes are making things really awkward for Blue Water. Forge God now used, but stunned up. He does not get the second cast. Weaver's well used defensively. Now Chain of Corruption. We have a split fight, but Winthrop University are grouped up together. They've already taken down Quacker. They're looking for Music. Damage dealers from Blue Water are together on the side here, but they just have nobody to stand in front of them. Very dangerous for Levitate and Samikin to walk up there. Winthrop University, they just did the time-tailed classic of everyone stick together and let the Ivern shield us up.
That's pretty much how this comp wants to work, and really nicely done for Winthrop. Winnie didn't have the Daisy. It was blown up instantly, so that makes it a little harder for them to play these fights. But Blue Water split themselves up. And as a result, you get an easy fight win for Winthrop. You stop the Drake stacking, and you do get a turret on the bottom side. More gold into Darkwing's pocket. So that's going to be tough. You don't want to give away fights like these, especially when you're supposed to be the stronger team at the moment here. And it only gets harder for you as time goes on. And the comfort is that they are able to get another turn in response. They are able to try and extend this gold lead a little bit more, but it isn't very much. I'd want to be ahead more if I'm against double marksman Ivern Orn.
Yeah, I think in general, that is a sentiment that people could agree on. Bold move from Chookies right there. I know Darkwings is close enough, but still. There's a chance he just get blown up, but is fine for right now. And also, it feels like Blue Otter, one of the things that I had given them a lot of props for and credit for earlier on, or at least by the time that they had their ramp up at the end of the season, end of the regular season, was that their team fights and their willingness to play on the same page and ability to follow up on each other was immaculate. That fight did not see a lot of that. I think that the Mordekaiser is making things a little awkward for them. We talk about the creative tools. Well, sometimes creativity can actually stifle your comfort in the plays and make things a little too awkward for how you want to set things up.
Yeah, I will say Quacker struggling a little bit on this Mordekaiser. 2 fights in a row, he's not able to get the Death Realm off and just ends up dying, being the sole focus and damage here for the side of Winthrop University. And you can see it too. He does have that second item, so he is still in a really strong position, especially when it comes to the duels. If it's 1v1, maybe even 2v1, depending on the duo, he is going to be really strong here inside. But in the team fights, he does need to be very careful and make sure that he is not just soaking up all the damage that Music should be.
Yeah, he's very strong in the side lane. I don't think anybody can really answer him. Denethor has the Kanik Rookern, but then needs to build into more armor items to deal with the damage coming in from Levitate here. So that will help out Quacker in that side lane 1v1. Now, Blue Otter are set up around the Baron, and they're going to try and catch out Chookies, who uses Grand Entrance. Still has Battle Lance available, I believe. He's locked down, flashes to safety. His teleports are coming in. Call the Forge God from Denethor. Can he find the engage on anybody? He goes into Quacker, who's into the Death Realm with Aaron already. Quacker found the ideal target, and that is Varus down. Now the rest of Blue Otter can move forward. There's no Varus damage. For the rest of the fight, it's going to be up to Darkwing. It's going to be up to Denethor. Denethor flashes to safety. Winnie barely alive, but Levitate snipes him under the turret. Blue Otter find 2 kills in the fight.
You couldn't have asked for a better target for that last Mystic shot, Steve, because now Blue Otter, they've got themselves that fast track to the Baron. They don't have double marksman, but with no opposing smite, they should be able to pretty easily take this one down. Darkwings, though, this is a 2 items for Stana. He's here with Chookies, who still has his ult.
Yeah, Chookies has the quickness, so if Chookies finds the right engage, Darkwings can find the follow-up. Denethor as well to just be a front line. The Baron is low. It's getting low. They got it, though. And the magical journey to safety. Denethor going to follow up with a knock-up only onto 1. Music still Arctic Assault to safety. Levitate is the Ezreal. Hard to lock him down. Winthrop University feel like they're a little desperate right now. They really want the play to work. Flash forward from Darkwing. Damage onto Levitate, but not enough as Samikin teleports in. Winthrop find no members of the enemy team. Blue Otter get out with the Baron.
Really clutch that they're able to make it out with all 5 Baron buffs. They get all that upfront gold. They got the kills before that fight as well. So now you can see this gold lead grow to a more desired state in a situation like this. They're up 3,000 gold now. We're a minute to the next Drake as well. But the immediate attention here is onto this top side. Winthrop haven't backed. Blue has spent their money.
And we have the Tempered Fate. It's only onto Denethor. That is the tank. Blue Otter have members around, but look at the flank coming in from Quacker. He teleported behind enemy lines, and now Arctic Prison onto Aaron. He has to flash to safety. Winnie's down. Denethor has no more shields to keep him alive. A double kill to Quacker.
And remember, this is Quacker finding his stride here in this third game, Steve, after receiving 5 bans from Winthrop University. Every single ban was thrown towards him, and it's Winthrop punished by it for overstaying on the map. Blue Otter spent all their gold after the kills, after the Baron buff, and Winthrop, they didn't have full health, they didn't have full mana, they just weren't prepared for that fight at all.
Yeah, they stayed on the map a little bit too long, and Quacker, alongside the rest of Blue Otter, punished them. Quacker in some trouble now. They're taking a lot of damage. What a magical journey across the wall of the base. But I'm happy you highlighted that. Quacker had 5 bans against him. Still trusted with counter pick on red side that Blue Otter chose. They wanted that counter pick, and they've been rewarded as the Flash Arctic Assault from Music will land on a Winnie. A lot of damage in, but still alive. Well, the Forge God with the quickness coming in from Shookies means that they can turn it back around on a Music. The Seismic Shove is not nearly enough damage. Denethor is just too tanky as Winthrop University fight their way into the Dragon Pit.
And this one's going to be tough. Now Music, Blue Otter are the ones lacking the smite, but the range and poke is still in favor of Blue. So they can poke down.
No smite for Blue Otter, but Winnie can't get into the pit because Blue Otter are actually controlling the approach.
Look.
I love this from Blue Otter. What a defense at the objective after losing their jungler. Now Winthrop, though, they've drawn new battle lines. They say, fine, we'll do it again from the bottom of the river. They're going to walk forward, but no ultimates available on their primary engage tools. Means that Levitate Poke is going to be a very safe. Chain of Corruption does land. Shookies follows up, but there's no more damage because of the Tempered Fate from Rovex. Shookies in trouble. Sammy can flashes forward to get it. Aaron completely separated from the rest of the team.
Music's here.
As now Winnie might be able to get in onto the Dragon, but you're right. Music has finally joined up with the team. Winnie does secure the objective, but at what cost? Everybody's going down. Rovex still alive. The last little W keeping him up, and he's out of there. Denethor's gonna fall. That is a 4-for-1 trade along with the Dragon. But look at the minions in the base.
They're gonna
the inhibitor was taken. That's a Nexus turret down, and maybe the costliest Dragon of the series. Blue Otter, they're gonna keep pushing forward. They teleport in. Samykin wants to go for the end. Winnie and Shookies are the only members up, but Aaron's up in 5 seconds. The Varus damage is gonna be necessary to take down these waves. And Blue
we just hit the turret.
Some of the turret. Gotta focus the turret. It's barely alive. Finally goes down. What a seismic shove onto Aaron right there as he walks up. But they want out of there, and they want out now. No Nexus turrets up. No inhibitor topside. Winthrop will live to fight another day, but what a swing for Blue Otter.
Yeah, now that Nexus is exposed, you have a teleport coming up from Quacker very soon, and you still have supers coming in the top side. This is a very dangerous game state to be in for Winthrop University, because now it's going to be really hard to get those front-to-back team fights you want. Yeah, your carries are at those big power spikes. There are 2 items. Darkwing's almost at 3. But until an objective comes up, you still have that threat of losing your base very suddenly. I don't see any TP wards going, but still, exposed Nexus is very dangerous.
Watch how split this fight gets. Winthrop walk forward while Aaron can't quite join.
Yeah, and again, this is just another example of Blue Otter, again, knowing their limits at these team fights. This is difficult because they are down numbers. They don't have their jungler yet, but they still manage to go blow for blow and get these key carries down low or straight up dead, so that even though they don't secure the strike, Music comes in just at the last moment to be able to help turn the tides in their favor.
That Tempered Fate from Rovex, I think, also just saved the entire play. Locking down 4 members and buying time for Samykin's Weaver's Wall to get into position to lock down Aaron. It wasn't necessarily that the team went away from Aaron. It's that they couldn't get on to anybody that was on Aaron based on how the fight actually played out. A chaotic moment. Blue Otter, definitely the benefactors of that. Baron spawning now in 35 seconds. They already have a little bit of a setup here. No teleport ward set up for Winthrop University. Really don't have a way to approach other than just walking straight into Blue Otter.
Yeah, something I will say that I want to highlight real quickly is that even though Blue Otter are up 6,000 gold, Darkwings and Aaron are still very strong, especially now that the
Yep.
Mortal Reminder's done for Darkwings. Not to mention Denethor, he's hit level 14. We're already seeing him get those Masterwork items up. The Kraken Slayer for Aaron has been upgraded. Of course, his own Kanik Rooker has been as well. And you got to imagine Darkwings is next. So there's a lot of firepower in the backline of Winthrop University.
Went for the Warmog second as well for Denethor. Interesting to see. Going to stay on the map a little bit longer, but the waves are going down pretty evenly. The Vision's still firmly in control of Blue Otter. They got one ward placed down behind the buff, and the control ward as well. With the supers here from Darkwings means that Blue Otter can just walk up and start the Baron now. They see the Tristana. Watch where Quacker is. Mordekaiser's actually on a bit of a flank here. Blue Otter are playing off of Baron. Only Levitate and Music are hitting it right now. Means that they're not going to be able to just burn it down. Oh! What a Tempered Fate yet again. Not a lot of follow-up that time around, but still looked cool. Now Call the Forge got used. Denethor, this could be the big one. Only hits onto one member. It was just Quacker in the Death Realm because Denethor was pulled in there as well. Flash away from Quacker. Blue Otter are repositioning. This is where Winthrop's team can look really strong. The long drawn-out fights with the Ivern. Levitate all alone right now. Everybody else trying to get on top of him. He has to flash to safety. Blue Otter split as they were retreating from the fight.
Yeah, but look at this. Quacker, he can teleport now and join the fight after backing, spending his gold, and so many key ultimates were used there for Winthrop. So this is the best chance Blue Otter are going to get.
Yeah.
Spirit's going down fast.
They only have Darkwings ulted.
What?
Oh my goodness, the Barret's stolen by Music. Blue Otter gonna just run through the rest of the fight, but nice knocker from Denethor. Maybe a bot space, maybe a bot time. Aaron and Darkwings gotta put a lot of damage in, but it's only on the Quacker. They can't hit anybody else. Music re-engages back up into the wall as Darkwings falls down. Chookies and Aaron will go as well. Aaron barely living with a blast cone. But Blue Otter with a Baron steal and a team fight win. That should just be the game. What an ace and what a Tempered Fate to close things out.
And just like that, Blue Otter are going to go to match point here, Steve. We're finally going to get our Game 4 Fearless, but the way Blue are playing, Game 4 might be all we get. Winthrop have one more chance or their season is over.
Had to work a little bit harder for it that time around, but the result was all the same. Congratulations to Blue Otter for picking up game number 3. And I mean, what a interesting way that one played out. The early game felt like Winnie was in such firm control, but I think the fact that Music was able to get back into the game after the fact, I don't know if you have a strong opinion on player of the game, but I might be leaning towards Music for just being that big engage for the team.
Yeah, I think I can agree with Music on that one. He did play from behind really nicely. I think, again, his laners all played that early game really well, but I still think he used that advantage really nicely. He had great engages in so many of these team fights, and I think he was just so important for his team in that game. And, I'm going to give honorable mention, Rovex Bard.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, that Bard was also filthy, so honorable mention. It's tough. You can only ever pick one player of the game, but the fact that Music was able to come back into that and had such insane team fights by the end there as well. But also Rovex could probably start to make a highlight reel with the the Bard ults from that one too. So I think everybody's a winner on Blue Otter's side this time around.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it was still a good game from Winthrop. I think they showed us a lot of signs of life, and I think that is promising going into the rest of these series. Again, Game 4, our first time going 4 games in Fearless. Now 30 champs will be unavailable, and we'll see if Winthrop are going to be able to pull something out of the hat.
Yeah, it will come down to either one more game or a full 5 game. Best of 5. Either way, we're going to see something different after this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you after this.
Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same toxic chemical that's used in taxidermy? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde.
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 Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Here's a fact that'll stop you in your tracks. Teens who vape can be exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. Know the real cost.
Here are your NACL Summer 2024 Rookie of the Split nominees. Blue Otters Levitate.
And it's just buying time for everybody else to look for the fight, look for the engaged. Chime is just getting melted right now. They do trade one back, though. It's music that goes down. Cyclone used by Quack, but that's the second one. He does not have another way. No, he does! There was another Cyclone! Double kill to Levitate. They're going to clean up.
Winthrop University's Denethor.
Put a hold on that because we're going to fight topside. Blue Otters' worries are not ending anytime soon. Blue is the way they are feeling right now because they are getting handled as Denethor is not done. He's level 6. He sees a level 3 Nautilus.
CCG Esports' Crimson. Oh, face sealed. They got Samikin. He's going to go golden. He's buying a lot of time. Crimson is going to look for him, though. Look at Shochi buying all that, and then he brings the Spiraling Despair away from the team. Now they're chasing him down, and CCG! Doubters be damned! Beat down, they've made the comeback here, and Crimson is about to be the comeback king! Blue Otters Samikin.
Cole engages onto him, and Samikin's now in trouble. Flashes to safety. Blue Otter trying to lock down the other members of TLC, but Jenkins is in here. Samikin does kill him down on the clapback. Levitate unleashed in the fight. The Zeri pumping out damage as Samikin's dancing around, flashes over with another bubble.
Keep your eyes on these players as they are just getting started. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS.
Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same toxic chemical that's used in taxidermy? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde.
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 Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Here's a fact that'll stop you in your tracks. Teens who vape can be exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. Know the real cost.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for Game 4 of our first ever NACL Best of 5 Full Fearless Draft. Again, all the open qualifier supporters, salute to you. You've seen a couple of these before, but this is our first time catching it on this channel, and it's delivering because we are going to Game 4. And beatdown, that means a slight change for the pick and ban phase.
So glad you said that, Steve, because you're right. Now, in Game 4, there will be no second rotation bans. Both teams will have their first 3 bans, and that's it.
That's
so
it.
There's going to be less opportunity to remove things off the board. It is kind of a balancing act to mitigate the amount of champions removed by Fearless, because remember, 30 champions are out of the picture after that last game. And speaking of, let's take a look at the damage, Steve.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage
Yes.
coming in from the bot lane in particular. Levitate having a fantastic series so far. Rovek's out damaging the Ivern. Look at that. Wonder how many people in chat, by the way, were like complaining that Rovek's being robbed of player of the game. That's on me. Beatdown immediately afterwards was like, you know that should have been it, right? But it's all right.
Thank you for telling the truth to the people, Steve.
I'm out of
I
myself,
respect that.
so you don't have
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I would have. So, getting ahead of it. I really like that. But yeah, I think it was another good game coming through from Blue Otter. I think Winthrop had moments where it looked like they were going to be able to make it work. But I think the disruption from the Bard was too well capitalized on by Blue Otter and too hard for Winthrop to play against. And also in a similar vein, when Quacker could get those ults off, I think he was also serving a similar function, making it really hard for Winthrop to actually play as 5v5, because some people were stunned, some people were in Brazil, some people were in the Tempered Fate, whatever you want to call that place. Goldland? What do we think?
Well, Tempered Fate, where is that?
You know what I'm talking about?
Atlantis? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like where do you go when you're in there? Go to the sky.
Sleep, baby?
Go to heaven. There we go.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for saying something worse than me.
Yeah, I just had to fall on that sword real quick. But I think Quacker was also just trying to give them a taste of potentially the international event that they won't be able to make it to if Blue Otter can pick up another one here. But let's take a look at the champions locked in from the first 3 games, because a reminder, they will be locked out of picks for the rest of the series. Full Fearless Best of 5 means that now 30 champions are no longer in consideration for either of these teams.
That's right. And this is a big deal, too, because a lot of the usual suspects, a lot of really strong champions that we've seen throughout the split are just out of the picture now. So how far, I wonder what else we are going to potentially see. Because, especially with Quacker being banned out so heavily, I wonder if they're going to, on the side of Winthrop, just go ahead and use those first 3 bans on him again. Because this is a tough spot to be in. Now, you use those first 3 bans in that last game to get rid of what? It was Udyr, Olaf, Darius. All 3 picks there from Quacker. And the fact that he can live without them until this stage puts Winthrop kind of in a bind, Steve.
Yeah.
Because now, you got to respect those champions.
And I want to
And if you let them through, your series could end.
I would say it was like Gwen and Jax as the last 2 bans, but
that was the last 2, yeah.
There will only be 3 bans for each team for this rotation now. So in the client, we'll see what it looks like. Actually, we do have the spots still. We'll probably just be waiting out those times. They won't be able to ban anything. Yeah. So 30 champions already off the table, and now 3 more from each team. It is still going to be top lane focus. Winthrop did opt for red side. Both of these teams want the red side. I think a big part of it has to do with their top laners and the ability to counterpick each other and then have a much higher impact in the game as a result.
Yeah, there goes the Udyr. I'm wondering what else that we're going to see taken away from them. I have a feeling the first 3 bans that we saw, first rotation of last game, aren't going to change. Yeah, there it is, Olaf. I'm sure Darius is coming next.
Yeah, most likely, which means that Jax and the Gwen would not be, would be on the table for both of the players. Now, interestingly enough, I know Denethor plays both of those champs, but it was actually Winthrop that were banning them away from Quacker before. So maybe Denethor has a certain one of them that he would be more comfortable with in the matchup, if you're assuming that it would be a handshake between those 2.
Yeah, this time, Yone banned away.
I'm noticing we haven't seen a Kennen yet, though. Because that also has been, on the radar. It's been played here and there, especially from Blue
I'm glad
Otter.
you mentioned it. I'm glad you mentioned the Kennen, because maybe the Darius maybe they're leaving the Darius up because they have something like that in a response for Denethor. It's kind of a bait where they're like, well, we're leaving it up now. Are you going to play it, Quacker? We know he hovers it.
It's being hovered. I think the Blue Otter are taunting the side of Winthrop University, saying we always could pull it out, but we're not going to just blind pick it first Blue 1. Instead, they're going to go for the Alistair. Now, let's look at the engaged champs that are no longer available.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Nautilus, Leona, Rakan, even Bard, if you want to consider Tempered Fate a tool of engage. Not many tools available in the support role now.
No, I mean, we might start going into ranged options soon. I will say when Skytech was playing for the team, actually earlier on in the split, Skytech did play, what was it, the Taric. That is something we could see if the situation demands it. Right now with the Caitlyn pickup, I have a feeling Chuki's just going to end up playing. Maybe they're going to set up for a Kate Lux.
Deos was very proud of the fact that they went for a Callista Taric lane in particular. Both champions can save each other with their ultimates and also play more aggressively than you would necessarily expect. Callista can set up the binding very well, but it's going to be Caitlyn Lux instead. So a lot of range. I assume Lux support. Technically, it could go into other lanes, but most likely just going to be the full poke bot lane.
Yeah, now there's a couple of options here for Levitate. And you could go the Kaisa, you could go the Smolder, you can go for more scaling options. Your early game will be really tough, but your ability to go in with what I assume the rest of Blue Otter's comp is going to be some sort of dive composition is good, and 2-3 items, you're a disgusting champion.
I was smirking at that Draven hover. Actually, I think that would have been very fun to see here.
Yeah,
Probably not
real.
Ideal into Lux Kaylin, so good to not go for that. Instead, it's going to be the Wombo combo. Now, this has been hovered multiple times in the series, and it might still not be locked in. Hui is the pivot, and Hui is the choice.
Yeah, I will say that was more of, I think it was kind of mess with Darkwings a little bit, because that is more of the Darkwings pick so far here in Summer Split. It could be something we see them go for here. They have this sort of long-range comp so far with the Kate Lux. I think Syndra with that Scatter of the Week would be a way for them to maintain that space. The thing is, though, there are no more bans. They don't necessarily have to pick that one now, but if they want to secure it as well.
I think, yeah, it was Sammy saying, look, you're going to pick this because I'm picking the next most high-priority mid laner in the Hui. They opted, instead of going for jungle and then getting at least counter pick for mid or top, depending on whatever Winthrop locks in for their fourth pick, they say, no, we will give counter pick for both of our solo lanes, which means that they are highly prioritizing what the Hui brings to the table.
Yeah, so at this point now, I mean, we're just going to be waiting waiting out the timers until we get to that next stage of picks. So right now, I'm expecting Winthrop to pick for Winnie first. And you do already have a lot of magic damage, so we're definitely leaning towards the AD options. Worth noting, Wukong is still up and available. Actually pretty strong in my opinion on this patch, especially with the buffs that he got. Xin is up. Still worth noting as well. Hecarim, we've seen pop up in the meta, I think would also work for either of these teams, I think, so far. I mean, some of the things we might be able to expect. Skarner, I do like that shout out. Is another one.
Yep, saw it a lot today in LCS. Had some actually pretty good games in there as well, so we'll see what Winthrop want to go for here as the final bans will fizzle out. They still have to lock in a jungler and a top laner. I'm expecting fully for Winthrop to go jungler first because they really do want to save that top lane counterpick for Denethor. So, I mean, again, thinking about what the blind pick options are for top lane, at this point, what do you even go for?
I mean, the Darius is up. I think this is not a good game for Darius.
No.
So I think, I'm trying to think of what else Quacker can play. This is tough because, you know, we gotta, when we're doing draft, Steve, we gotta remember, you know, meta champions and things like that. Well, now we have to dig deeper because anytime I think of a champion, they're great out there on my monitor.
They're I thought you said
Sion is up.
Grayed out.
No, grayed out.
Yeah,
grayed
they're
out.
not available on your monitor. Sion could be a pick.
Yes.
I actually think it's still Kennen. I think actually if you're Blue Otter, you just blind pick the Kennen because you already have the engage options of the Alistair plus the Kaisa. J4 is the jungle choice here for Winthrop University. So now we'll get to know what Blue Otter want to lock in.
No, I think that's actually really nice. Kaisa, you're short range. So you are under a lot of threat against the J4. I mean, Hui are low mobility as well. So you're in that cataclysm. There's only one way out, and it's to flash. So there's a lot of value that Winnie is going to be able to have in the early game and in these later team fights.
Ooh, but you also highlighted
Hecarim.
this. Hecarim coming up. We have heard rumblings of Hecarim being
good.
a very strong pick. Blue Otter, I think we're the first, if not the only team to pull it out so far. I had always heard it as a potential
Supernova
counter
also
into
pulled
like
it out.
the Brand and the Zyra champions in particular. But I mean, when you're looking at like a Caitlyn Lux Syndra, same idea, right? It's an immobile champion that's very squishy that you can just ult on top of and try and blow them up with the backup of a Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Hunter, exactly. And the follow-up there from Levitate is so big. Oh, my God. We're running Shen Hecarim. We wanted to see how deep Quacker was going to go. And there you go. We got a really OG duo with Shen Hecarim. So now, whatever music goes in these late-game team fights, that Stand United is coming in right on top of it.
Well, this got very exciting very quickly. I assumed it was just going to be the Kennen because last time we saw Blue Otter play the Hecarim jungle, it was with the Kai'Sa Kennen alongside of it. But this is a different look. This is less about bolstering the engage and more about making the current engage even scarier because they're harder to kill and you have great follow-up even if Winthrop's trying to get aggressive on top of you. Suddenly, the Syndra executes less reliable. The Lux pick is less reliable because not only can you back up the Hecarim, but you can back up anybody else who's getting picked by the side of Winthrop. Fun pick, and it's not even countered really by anything that Denethor liked, and that's just a Scion answer from Winthrop.
It's just frontline, much needed frontline for the DPS, the damage you have on the side of Winthrop. I will say though, Steve, Winthrop, again, they're in a position where they have a lot of early game agency. You have Kate Lux, you have Syndra, you have J4. You're very strong early. You have a lot of decision-making power in this first 15 and 20 minutes. Blue Otter, when it comes to late game, they scale very nicely. But Winthrop, they need to use these advantages if they want to take us to that Game 5. Remember, their season is on the line. If they lose this, they're out. 2024 is over.
Also, great color combination from all members of Blue Otter. Very blue.
That's true.
Very purple.
Like that.
Loaded in here to game number 4. Blue Otter
Very
versus
mindful.
Winthrop University. Spam in chat, Blue, if you're an Otter. Spam, woo! If you're a Thropper, are they still called the Throps out?
It's technically Thrup. So, Thrup South,
Here we
Thrupper,
go.
I don't know.
Very good. Either way, Winthrop University are grouping up together to get some early vision down into Blue Otter's jungle territory. Try and track where music is starting on the Rift.
And that early vision, I think, will be nice to the side of Winthrop and Winnie. That information on where music is going to be just makes it easier for you to either potentially pressure for an invade or just make plays where he isn't. Because again, music wants to farm. He wants to get to level 6 as quickly as possible. And Winnie just wants to gank.
Yeah, I will say that the potential for plays definitely higher on the side of Winthrop when you look at the first couple minutes of the game. But speaking of plays, we see one already here from Blue Otter. They're having Quacker link up with music for a jungle invade while lane swapping their bot lane to the top. Very, very creative start.
Yeah, we don't see too much lane swapping here. Challengers Link, but I think this is honestly a fine game for it. You both tanks, so they're going to be able to move around the map and have that early impact. Denethor being here topside will give potentially that advantage here unless Quacker TPs to that bottom wave to catch the wave that Aaron and Chookies are stacking here.
Ooh, and when he goes for a very early gank onto Sammykin in the mid lane. Not going to actually find it. He had actually gone for his own double camp clear, but the third camp is being stolen away by Music as we speak with the help of Quacker. So Music's getting a CS and XP lead while Quacker is struggling for it, but they have 4 members here. Denethor is in a lot of trouble and a world of hurt. Which ability did he start? It looks like it was the W because I saw the shield come up there, but it's Rovex with the clean tanking of the turret while it is Levitate, the kill credit.
Yeah, I will say, the nice thing there for Denethor is that he's playing Scion. He's actually able to collect a good amount of this experience. Does hit level 2, is able to TP back.
Are we going for it? I mean, this is bold. We don't have a lot of damage anymore.
No, I think it's fine.
He's level 2 now, and he actually just pops Rovex. It is not, in fact, fine, as Quacker will almost go down. Not very mindful. Flash forward. Oh, whoa, hey. Okay, he just flashed forward and walked away. Quacker does live, but Denethor gets a kill.
Woo! I mean, all things considered, you get first blood onto Levitate, which feels really good. Here's the problem, though. Kate Lux are getting a lot of plates, and you're losing out on basically this entire wave. In fact, Quacker is still level 1, is going to play for the XP in the top lane instead of trying to go for these waves bot side. But this one is tough because Aaron and Chookies are level 3.
Yeah, and I think Rovex is just going to die yet again. Flash is 4 for the knockup, but Levitate does not have the damage to burst down Chookies. Winthrop University heavily punishing this lane swap that was a cool attempt, but not paying off for Blue Water.
I think the problem ends up being that the dive doesn't work. They want to re-dive Denethor so that they put him astronomically behind, and they have this opportunity to go plate for plate with this Caitlyn Lux. But the dive goes awry. Rovex lost too much health in that early exchange, Steve. So as a result, Denethor gets a kill, but more importantly, Quacker is super far behind. Levitate and Rovex are now really far behind in experience. And Aaron and Chookies, who are already level 4, by the way, have already collected a couple of plates. So this Kate Lux, exactly where they want to be in this early game.
A lane swap can get you a lead if executed properly. It can
Also lose you the game.
do this, as Music is now going to try and bail out his top laner. No flash for Denethor. Taunt follows up from Quacker. 2 levels down on his lane opponent, but Music will pick up the kill. Now Quacker just needs to live, but Denethor again at the Scion passive will just try and farm up, get the wave to crash, and will do so. Well, also getting Hunted Quacker right there. A little scary situation for the Shen, but overall, nice for Music to pick up the kill.
Yeah, not bad, actually. I kind of think this allows Quacker to get back in the game. He's kind of set up a freeze. He's going to be able to back and teleport as well. Oh, nicely done from Sammy Kid. But yeah, so at least that gank top was a nice play from Music to kind of get Quacker back into this one a little bit. And Music's been able to keep up in farm. He's getting really close to that level 6. He's ahead of Winnie in experience as well.
Yeah, Rovex will just go in for a bit of damage, but he's getting full Caitlyn comboed! Chookies with a kill credit. Aaron executing that flawlessly, and yeah, we're seeing what happens when Alistair plays against a Caitlyn and a Lux.
Oh, interrupted.
Music gets onto Winnie, is interrupted, trying to get over the wall, and the W from Levitate will be enough to pick up the kill.
His W seeks prey, and Winnie is unfortunately prey. You get that response coming through here, so that is something you get back from Blue Water, but I still think the bot lane of Winthrop very happy right now. You are so ahead of the game. We're 6 minutes, and the 4th plate is being taken down here by Aaron and Chookies. And we could actually see the situation where they get all the plates, they rotate him to get the rest, mid, top, wherever. And if Aaron gets super hyper accelerated, then that first blood kill that Levitate got, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, let's see how much Aaron gets with this back. Already had the BF sword for all of that, and got at least 1 more plate along with that kill.
Oh.
There's a dagger, there's boots.
Steve, I'm sorry. I have a quick addendum.
Yes.
Looking over at the gold, I take back everything I said. Levitate is still ahead here. And is still perfectly fine.
Got the first blood top. Yeah, that's probably a big part of it.
And that other kill he just picked up. You know, a big thing with Kate Lux, you want those plates so that you can get ahead. Being even, you know, it's not as good. Not as fun.
Okay. Not as mindful. Now as we have the lane swap happen yet again, Aaron going top lane this time around, leaving Levitate to the bottom side. Winthrop are doing this so that they can fight for the grubs. Winnie and Chickies are in the same area, and Music being chased away. That's a support Lux damage, by the way. That was a lot.
Yeah. Hextech alternator. It is what it is. Right now, though, got a bit of a situation. Yeah, that lane swap was really nicely done. And Aaron is really strong. Quacker is, of course, still kind of behind the curve a little bit based on what happened early. It is going to give the space for Winnie to be able to grab the grubs this time. Blue Water have gotten that prio on that objective all series long. But for the first time today, Winthrop are going to get the first 3.
Looks like it. Uncontested. Winnie's still on there, as Levitate and Rovex will push the wave in bot side now. Denethor level 6, but Quacker has hit it as well. Quacker's gotten right back into this game after being very far behind early on. Can he survive a potential dive? It'd be Winnie that has to tank it up, and then Chookies Aaron, but they don't have Lux ult. If they had that, maybe they actually go for it, but without it, I don't think that they have the damage, so they decide to back off. As Dragon is eventually answered on the bottom side. Big damage on the Dark Wings from Samikin, but not enough for a kill.
Nope, just enough to get mid push, get that pressure here and force Darkwings under his turret.
Oh!
And
Okay, takes one turret shot, and the wave is gone. Darkwings will back.
oh, hold on. Chookies is here. There's no information. Winnie is
Sammykin's
also
got
level 6,
flash.
Sammykin.
Yeah, does Winnie want to go for a flag and drag flash? Doesn't have the space for it.
Sammykin.
Well, maybe he does now. Okay, yeah, Sammykin's really
We're playing with
playing
fire.
on the edge right now.
There's a
Has
part of me that
Rovex
respects
nearby.
it.
Okay, now they see Rovex, so Jig is up, and Winthrop University can back away. Here comes Music, though. Can they actually get away? Chookie's level 5 is quite squishy. Music doesn't want to commit for the play.
Okay, Sammykin's dead.
Okay, flashes. Darkwings. One more scatter of the week. Should have enough,
Oh,
but
wow.
can't get in range. Doesn't have the cooldown. Sammykin walks away. Flash for flash.
Remember what I told you last night, Steve? 10 damage buff on Syndrol, rank 1. Ah, who cares, man? Not good enough. It was 20
Ooh.
damage. That's a kill.
Nice
Jokes
attempted
aside,
snipe.
Sammykin. Ah, was it nice? He missed.
Yeah, it looked cool. Okay, flash from Aaron. Well timed right there, but Music gets the spear in the right area, and Levitate
Perfect.
has the damage on top.
And that's the threat of the Heckra and the follow-up from Levitate as well. The combo is just too easy, it's too clean. And now, Aaron being off the map, Levitate still maintains his spot at the top of the leaderboard. That is the gold lead here. Levitate, you're scaring me a little bit.
Yeah, these Blue Otter players are playing on the line of the Lux, and any binding could spell their doom, but so far they've been able to dodge them out.
Spell. Yeah,
Huh?
I mean, right now, you said spell, as in, magic.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I was thinking like words, but
no, I mean, that's kind of the
Double
whole thing about
entendre.
puns, double, yeah, exactly. Okay, there, you got there, then. Good job, man. I don't even know what I was going to say. You ruined
sometimes
it,
I
man.
scare myself with my wit. I don't even notice.
Sometimes your wit scares me too, Steve.
Often, some would say. Back into the live game, though. Winthrop University are setting up for a potential dive at bot lane. Levitate is wise to it and drops the ward, so should be fine. They have Chookies, Aaron, and Winnie in the neighborhood, as Rovex will be the only defense for Levitate. Back to the siege, though. They've spent so much time hitting these plates, and they finally take the fourth one.
Yeah,
They
you
might
pop some Levitate.
swing.
They
are.
probably will.
It's gone. Wow. That is a Demolish Lux, I believe. As that was the auto that I think hit that one. Not what I expected to see in this game.
No, but I mean, it got the job done, which is what's really important here. You got that early first
Yep.
brick. Yeah, it is demolished, as you said. So now there's still a couple more minutes for Winthrop to have Aaron across on another lane to collect more plates. I mean, maybe that's what we're seeing right now. Denethor is moving off the map, recalling. Darkwings is shifting up. So this is just what you do with Kate Lux. You get all the plates in one lane, and then it's your turn in the next lane too. So now, not Sammykin, Darkwings is going to have to move.
Rotated to the top side as the second spawn of grubs are coming up, and Winthrop have Kate Lux mid. But right now, Rovex does have a little window to get the vision down, and Music is on the same side of the map. Now remember, we have not seen Stand United yet from Quacker. That is a scary thought. If Winthrop actually want to try and fight for these grubs, that this Shen can show up at any point as long as Denethor can't cancel that teleport. Or ultimate.
I think even then, that shield is going to be really nice too. I think that's why we haven't seen too many over-aggressive dives from the side of Winthrop University. Now,
okay, Rovex is playing goalie, headbutts Winnie away. I kind of want to see Music just go for it. Now he had the smite available. Now they might go for it. Oh, big damage on top of him. There's the Stand United, but it's not in time. Teleport comes in, which means that Denethor actually joins the fight first. 1-for-1 trade so far. Levitate flashes to safety. Might just go down, but does not. Rovex in trouble now, but Quacker and Sammykin are here. Sammykin is now the carry for Blue Otter with a double kill picked up. You're running right past the Scion to get on the Darkwings, and there has it. No, not quite enough damage. Darkwings got nowhere to go, though. And one final take will be enough. Teleport was used from Quacker to get to the fight after the ultimate didn't make it through, but Sammykin was the hero of the play.
and again, when he is on the mages, he is just able to do so much. That's why he's getting these shouts for Rookie of the Split. Again, he was my personal vote when he's on these champions. And he's just been able to do so much here. One of the 2 rookies of Blue Otter, Steve, coming into this split here in summer. We're going to see this fight again. And Music saves his smite until the last one, even though he dies immediately. I think what I liked about this fight is just another example of how well Blue Otter played these ones out. Levitate, he is in there, man. And he is playing to his limits. He lives with a fraction of his health. And because so much was thrown at him as a result, the rest of Blue Otter are going to really easily be able to clean this up. Again, Sammy Kid, so comfortable on the sway, lands so many of these skill shots, and that's an easy triple for him.
Yeah, that was a wild fight right there, but Samykin just not the focus and is the benefactor. But we see the squishiness of the Hecarim coming into play yet again. Running away to safety, actually doesn't die that time around. The Lux plus Caitlyn ultimate were not enough that time. But in that last fight, that's the downside of this Hecarim. If you're the one making the play, it feels great. If you're the one getting locked down and blown up, it doesn't feel nearly as good. So nice for Music to at least get out that time.
Yeah, so the reset comes through. He's in a position where, see him path topside, we could see a play for this Rift Herald. Right now, and you can see the Hex Gates coming through. Levitate is moving up to this top side. The majority of Blue are moving up, and because everyone is off the map, there isn't really much of a punish Winthrop can do for this kind of over-index onto the top side of the map. They just kind of have to let this one go. There isn't a turret they can threaten. There isn't an objective they can trade. And unless they fight and steal this, Blue get this for free.
Trickies is nearby, but not throwing damage over the wall, and it's too far away anyway. Blue Otter will win the Herald fight, because there was none. Rather, Herald raced towards it. As top wave's shoving in now. Dark Wings gets that one there. Mid lane shoving out here. Let's see where Blue Otter want to drop this. Do they use it immediately, or do they wait? Music just takes so much damage for this Lux, man. It drives me crazy. Ugh. It's going to take a lot from Dark Wings as well, but this time he thinks that he can actually win it. Flash away from Dark Wings, trying to punish Music with the Unleashed power, but not enough damage.
No, not quite. It was a close call, and I think that ends up being a worthwhile trade, because you get that flash out of Dark Wings. You do force him out. I want to say Levitate.
Watch for Winnie. As the ultimate available, Levitate does not have flash.
Wow.
Surprised that Winnie didn't go for it. Maybe
Remember,
worried that Robex could just headbutt him away.
Also, Stand United is up and available. Levitate could ult out. Technically, you can use the ult, Killer Instinct, to get out of the Cataclysm as well. It's a really risky move, so I kind of respect the trade, to be honest. Still, Winthrop overall, I think this is a tough spot in the game to be in, because again, they have this comp that is meant to accelerate this early game, but they haven't been able to do a whole lot of that. It's Blue Otter who have been pushing the pace. Winnie now has an opportunity to make this play onto Samykin. I think they got him.
Samykin cannot clear the wave fast enough. And it's Dark Wings that will tank it up to begin, but Stand United. Samykin alive.
He's here.
Just long enough to maybe turn the play. Winnie will be traded in kind.
Look who's
Samykin
coming.
Goes down. Dark Wings gets that one. Shook, he's very low. Quacker picks it up. Now Aaron over the wall is able to play that one very well. Impressed with the cable mechanics. But still, Blue Otter can punish because they have that Shen.
Yeah, that's right. Samykin lives long enough for Quacker to join the fray. Now, might be an angle here. I don't know if they can actually dive, but wow, okay. I was going to say, I think they would have been happy with wasting the time of the members of Winthrop University, but the fact that they pull a TP out from Denethor, I think is really good.
Yeah,
You just
that's
get that
massive.
one
I think
free.
the threat of Robex having ultimate might have triggered the teleport.
maybe.
Just thinking if they go for the dive, they're probably just sacrificing Alistair for it. But yeah, it was a nice little look there from Blue Otter. Again, Quacker on the Shen is really throwing a wrench into plans here of Winthrop University.
Yeah, he is. I think Robex overall, I want to give the shout out just for having a really nice series so far today. It isn't just the Bard game. I think he's been playing every game really well. Finding a lot of engages, making space for a lot of his carries, and I mean, we're just seeing that more and more even here on this Alistar pick. And it's only going to get easier for him to be able to do it this game. Again, Blue Otter, I like their ability to scale into those later parts of the game. Wow. Steve, I promise it's so good. And Winthrop, they are under pressure. They are under pressure if they're not winning in the next 5-10 minutes.
The J4 comp will start to fall behind. The only big scaling they have will be Denethor's health bar, and then Darkwings as Syndra. You will get to a critical mass. I believe it's 120 stacks, if memory serves correct. Music now looking for the play, set up by Rovex. They're on the Winnie. Cataclysm back forward, flashing to safety, but there is nowhere safe to be. Rovex picks up the kill with that Ignite tick as Chookies almost has enough, but the ultimate from Rovex was just long enough. Chookies has to flash to safety now. Sammy can teleport it in for the play, and here comes Denethor.
Hello.
Not going to be there in time.
No, I mean, the bright side is there is a chance for Winthrop. They could run to this Drake if they want to and try and set it up. Music, oh no, Music is going for jungle privilege. Quacker's teleporting in. This is bad.
Healing back up off of the wave. Quacker TP with the taunt forward. Flash!
Wow!
Aaron, who had the flash available, but just did not expect that play at that time. That is 2 kills over to Blue Otter.
And there goes the Dragon hopes of Winthrop University. Blue are going to happily walk down and secure their second Drake of the game. They're doing basically everything right this game, Steve, and it's only getting easier for them to be able to do it. And soon, we're going to be talking about Soul Points. Soon, we're going to be talking about Baron. And at this rate, we're going to be talking about Blue Otter moving on in the lower bracket.
I mean, at this point, we're talking about Winnie walking forward to the Dragon in a desperation play, a Dragon that they didn't necessarily have to contest. And now they're getting punished even more for it, Darkwings. One final auto. That's a triple kill to Levitate as Blue Otter win back-to-back scraps and get the objective.
Wow. It's not looking good, Steve. I'm going to keep it exactly 100 with you. Yeah. Another turret going down. Yeah. This is a very tough position to be in.
just a full stack.
Just a full stack, man. Wow. It's been a good game here so far from Blue Otter. Winthrop University, though, and again, 3/5 of this year's CLOL champions, showed us signs of life by winning out in Game 2 off of a huge performance for Darkwings on the Azir. Said he wanted to show us more of that, that he wasn't able to do so far in the summer split. But this game, been tough for Syndra. I will say Darkwings, he's at 2 items. He does do quite a bit of damage. But there are just too many threats to the backline of Winthrop University. Again, Music, Quacker, Rovex, their ability, their access to the carries of Winthrop is just too full-ranging.
And Levitate is having the type of performance that reminds us his name is also in that conversation for Rookie of the Split. Just a incredible showing right now. As I'm saying that, almost caster cursing him. Still lives the full Lux combo plus Kate ult. So nice to know that the Caitlyn and the Lux are not so far ahead that they can actually just one-shot you like that. But
yeah.
Levitate's just having a fantastic performance alongside of Rovex, who Hex flashes in, trying to keep the wave away and the damage away from the turret. But now, Winthrop University, they had a trap laid. Sammykin could be in trouble here, has to flash away. Cataclysm finds space now for Sammykin, who's still getting all the damage out. They just can't lock him down. They can't hit him. And he got away. Rovex and Music can now play frontline for him. Music's just going mid-wave. Cannot believe that Sammykin lived through all of that.
Yeah, I mean, the CC from Music came in clutch to save his life, but it's gotta be so brutal for Winthrop. They committed so much. They threw everything in the kitchen sink at Blue Otter. They weren't able to even kill one single way. It cost Sammykin his flash. Levitate doesn't have his either. That is a potential point of pressure. Winnie, Darkwings, if they're able to get on top of them, maybe they'll be able to blow them up.
I gotta say, I think a big part of why Sammykin lived there was because of Chookies and Aaron using their ultimates to try and hit Levitate. I don't believe either were up. One Lux ult over the top. Even Chookies being a little closer would have been enough, but it feels like Winthrop and Winnie in particular maybe getting a little desperate, going for too deep of plays onto Blue Otter. And Blue Otter being able to absorb those attempts and dish it right on back. And I mean, we've talked about 2 of the players on Blue Otter with that Rookie of the Split potential here between Sammykin and Levitate. But let's talk about Music, the potential most improved player in the conversation, just running down Chookies.
Yeah, I think Music, alongside Blue Otter, has had such a great split, improved a lot. And it's so nice to see, too, because, again, these are 2 players who demoted Of course, we have that promotion relegation system. Quacker and Music last summer demoted with Supernova, but found their way back into the league with Blue Otter. And look at what they've been able to accomplish so far. Beating 2 of our LCS affiliate orgs. Beating all the odds to make it into playoffs. And now they might make it one round further.
And now Quacker coming in with Stand United. You can ban out his pool, but you cannot take away this guy's skill. As now Rovex and Music trying to continue the engage. But it's the taunt from Quacker that keeps it going as they're diving onto the turret. Knocking Aaron back into everybody. Taunting more. Chasing for more. They want it all. Blue Otter are just giving no quarter to Winthrop University. Denethor is going to go down as Shookies is the only living member from the slaughter.
And he has to watch in horror as Winthrop's chances this summer are crumbling around him because Blue Otter, the comp that outscales, are up 6,500 gold. They have this Baron that they're going to secure for themselves, and 1 or 2 more fights like that are going to punch Blue Otter's ticket to the next stage here in the lower bracket.
And now Rovex just keeping Shookies away from the Baron pit. No chance of a Lux ultimate final spark steal, and Rovex still trying to lock him down even more. Sammy Kid's got the damage. And that is a very delayed ace there, as Shookies was the only member to live through all of it. The rest of Winthrop have now respawned. But make no mistake, Blue Otter are on a tear right now. With this Baron buff, there is a chance they could just close this game out with the way that they've been playing these fights. One more ace and it could be done.
And right now to the Hex portals. Blue Otter is going to make full use of those and make it so Winnie is not able to even sneak away a Drake. They get absolutely nothing for everything they've lost so far. And Blue Otter, they're looking to take more.
Yeah, I think Denethor is wishing that he had not shown that he was in that brush. They're just body blocking the ult. He cannot get away. And Denethor goes down.
Unceremoniously, no less. So with this Baron buff being down, and Winthrop being down a member, I mean, this push just gets that much easier. Turrets are going to start falling. And at this point, you can see it. Darklings has to recall now. He's actually walking his way down through the... Okay, no, he's just making sure he's in a safe place to recall. Because, yeah, at this point, now with Denethor off the map, you're going to lose more turrets. It's time to start thinking about the base defense.
I mean, that's really all that they can do right now. They have no business walking out of their base. The jungle belongs to Blue Otter. The lanes belong to Blue Otter. Winthrop are only safe under their turrets, and those are not going to last for very long. As the mid-tier 2 will fall. Only top lane tier 2 turret survives. Here's another replay of that engaged top.
And again, Quacker, the recipient of so many bans this series, still doesn't fail to impress. This time the Shen pick, the Stand United, goes so clutch here to protect Sammykin and buy time for the rest of the team to go up for what is an overwhelming victory here in this team fight.
Yeah, the way Music played that, keeping Lux and Syndra away from the fight, the way Rovex played that to get Aaron caught out and just knocked into Levitate and everybody else, and the way Quacker played that to save Sammykin at the beginning and just keep everyone locked down. Picture perfect from Blue Otter, as their surge in the late season has been. They have toppled giants, and they have brought competition to the best teams in the league. And now we are seeing the Blue Otter team that could be the ones to make a lower bracket run. They are in the lower bracket earlier than they would like to be. But when we looked at the teams that were down here, we were wondering, who could be the one that could make the deepest run? I actually thought Blue Otter had a good chance with how they looked at the end of their summer split.
Oh, yeah.
I'm happy that they're maintaining that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, this team is genuinely good. And now a team that I think deserves the respect of, like, us, viewers, and everything with what they've proven. Again, they beat FlyQuest. They beat TL. And again, I was talking to Thin Uncle Phil, their coach, and he was telling me how it wasn't about being better than either of those teams or any of the opponents that they built. It's about being as good as they could be, because Brazil was always their goal. From the beginning of the split, from the middle of week 5, when this team was 1-5 and everyone wrote them off for playoffs. Most teams mental boom in that situation, but Blue Otter, they put their heads down, they locked in, and here they are.
Trying to find a pick onto Rovex, though. Winthrop University thought maybe they had a way in, but Rovex just too tanky. Now Winnie's out of position. That is ultimate used by Music, but they caught Winnie yet again. Rovex found the engage after getting engaged upon. St. United from Quacker keeping everybody alive, keeping everybody safe, as now the siege will continue. Oh, Baron buff, they don't need it. They're just going to engage even further under the turret. Rovex is just that guy. Levitate, unkilled in this game number 4, and he is cleaning up as he picks up yet another double kill. It's just going to be Aaron and Darkwings trying to keep their base alive. No wave now means that a lot of damage went into Rovex through the turret, but not enough to get a kill. That is an inhibitor down, and Blue Otter can walk away.
And they can walk away knowing that all they need to do is close this out cleanly. Honestly, they could close this out sloppily, Steve. It's 13,000 gold in their favor, and once they back and spend everything they've earned these last few minutes, that door is closed. Winthrop, I think it's over, man.
I mean, Levitate's 13-0-5. What an insane performance from this guy. Rovex finding engage after engage on the Alistair. The first couple levels looked a little rough. Was getting
That's
popped by
K-Lux, man. What can you do?
Yeah, but has repaid it back in kind to Winthrop University, saying, all right, now I'm a big cow. Now I have my ultimate, and you cannot lock me down. You have no chance. Winthrop University are trying to set up a death brush. But funnily enough, Blue Otter, they can just walk this wave in. They don't even need to look at this dragon. It is their Hextech Dragon Soul. It would feel great. But they don't see where Winthrop are. So they're actually playing it very safe, very coy. And now they'll walk up together. Winthrop University still have a few members here, but I think 2 of the backs went off. No, 3 members are still hanging around. Control Ward spots them. As now Aaron could be the target. He's got to be careful. Has flash available, needs to use it. There it is. Fear from Music, but now Music's out of position. The Stand United will make it in time, but Music goes down, and it did not, actually. There's no shed onto the back line. Aaron's got a chance to do damage here. Denethor's buying space when he goes back in, but Shookie's in a tough spot here as Darkwings already went down. Double kill over to Levite, make it a triple. Can he go for the Penta? He's ulting in! Denethor's ulting away. Don't think Blue Otter need to get the Penta kill. They can just settle for the game, settle for the series, settle for their tournament lives as Levitate goes legendary. What a rookie split from this guy. Blue Otter will give a fond salute to Winthrop University and take revenge for what happened in the regular season as Levitate finishes the ace. Blue Otter take the series.
And they take it in commanding fashion as well, Steve, with the 3-1 finish. The loss to Supernova was tough on them, especially with the opinion of themselves that they have. The belief that they were always capable of gameplay like this, Steve. Blue Otter, they keep themselves going in this lower bracket, and we say goodbye to Winthrop University until 2024.
Yeah, a fond farewell to Winthrop University, who fought their hearts out today, but at the end of the day, there's always got to be a victor in a lower bracket, and today, that was Blue Otter. What a performance from this entire roster. Levitate unkilled at the end there. Didn't even see how many kills he had. I think it was like 18 by the end because he got the unofficial Penta. Didn't see it on the screen, but we felt it in our hearts, and I'm sure that he's feeling it in the, his emotional state now as they continue on in the lower bracket here with the win over Winthrop University. They're going to await now the next best of 5 series we have with DSG versus TLC. And, I mean, we already saw them beat TLC once, so maybe they can do it again.
Yeah, TLC and FlyC are both in the lower brackets here already in NACL playoffs, Steve. So you said you thought Blue Otter would be a team to make that run in the lower bracket. I'm right there with you because of everything they showed us in the back half of the split, everything they've showed us today, and in their 1-game win against Supernova. Blue Otter are a team to watch out for in this lower bracket. I think even our LCS affiliate teams have to think quite a bit about how they're going to approach this roster.
I have to agree. Blue Otter are the real deal. With that said, we're going to hear from one of the victors after a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Psst. Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same toxic chemical that's used in taxidermy? Formaldehyde?
Formaldehyde.
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 Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde.
Here's a fact that'll stop you in your tracks. Teens who vape can be exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. Know the real cost.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our Rally Cry post-game interview. I have the one and only Rovex support for Blue Otter coming out to join us for the first time, by the way. So welcome to the broadcast for the interview. Congratulations on the win and continuing your lower bracket run. I want to start off by talking about what that series was like from your perspective, because that was some of the best support gameplay that we've seen from you and the team. All split long. The Alistair, the Bard. How do you feel about your performance in that series?
Bro, that's my best performance. I ran it. I spawned in. I died. Went back to lane, died, and I died 2 more times. That's my best performance. I mean, it's not that bad. It was an alright series. I think. I think they had the second roster swap up. So, I mean, we should be expected to win. So. I can't stroke my ego too much on that, especially on that Alistar performance.
Okay. I wasn't going to point out the deaths early on, but I'm happy that you reminded me of them. What was going on there? Because the lane swap was an interesting idea, throughout the series, and then we also saw there at the end you really struggling against the Caitlyn and the Lux. So talk me through kind of the decision-making from your perspective and why things went that way early, and you died so many times.
Bro, we just got dizzy. We killed him one time, and it was like, our Shen's still level 1, he can't get into bot. Let's just double down, let's see what happens. And then we're like half like saying go, half not, and then we're just ultimately punished for being indecisive, which is okay.
Okay, all right. Well, we were talking a little bit on broadcast about this next point, and I'm not sure if you've given much thought to it, but traditionally when we have a team promote into the NACL, they won't make playoffs, they won't make a very big splash as they come in, and even some players get relegated. I mean, you're playing with like Quacker and Music who have been relegated before, but you're part of the core from Blue Otter that did promote into the tournament, and this is now the best performance that a new team to NACL that just promoted in has ever done. What do you credit the success of the team to, and why do you think things are clicking so well in the second half of the split?
Bro, that question was sponsored by my coaches. I 100% that was sponsored by my coaches, but you know, I'll give credit where credit's due. Then Uncle Phil and Sneezes, you guys have been doing a great job, and yeah, I mean it's a bunch of a lot of hard work from the players, but the coaching staff, without them, we can't really progress that well. And yeah, like our team's full of 3 relegated players, 2 rookies. So, I mean, it has to be a coaching staff diff. But ultimately, I think if a team is on the same page and is willing to work hard and go through the hard times, it's very easy to get far in this tournament.
All right. How far do you think you can go? Is this team going to make it to Brazil?
Yeah, bro, Mordekaiser me all the way to Brazil, bro. We're going. We're going.
Love to hear it. Well, it's the first time we get to offer you this because you were complaining about how we never give you screen time. So this is your moment, Rovex. You have the podium. What shout-outs do you want to give to anybody out there watching?
Shout out to the coaching staffs. Thank Uncle Phil and Sneezes. Once again, my players too, my teammates. You guys have been great. Especially this week of scrims, we've had a lot of like bad things happen, but everyone's just sticking in there. And yeah, no one else to give credit.
All right.
To.
Well, happy things are going well for you, Rovex. We're going to keep looking at the team and rooting you on as you go on through the lower bracket. So I'll let you get going here as you prepare for your next best of 5. And with that, we'll bring Beatdown back on the cast. Woo. All right, Beatdown. I forgot I was going to give him the option to flame me for not giving him player of the game for the Bard game. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't, because he was already pretty animated there.
I think the real problem is that you didn't ask him the $1 million briefcase question, and I'm kind of disappointed, especially because he's never had an interview before with us.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I should have done that. All right,
you
maybe we'll tweet it at him later. Yeah, exactly. Well, what a best of 5. It didn't go the full 5 games, so we didn't get to see that 5th game draft phase with no bans and just the full Fearless. But we did get to see at least the game 4, which I think was really cool and a change to the format. So here's an updated bracket as Blue Otter will continue on in the lower bracket and face either DSG or TLC.
Yeah, and remember, even though Blue Otter have been playing really well and they really believe in their chances, Rovex saying as much about their chances of getting to Brazil for the Americas tournament, they still have 4 more best of 5s to make it happen. They have a long road ahead of them to be able to get it done. And they're going to have to go through Supernova, who sent them down here in the first place. So it's definitely not going to be easy, but if any team in this lower bracket can make it happen, I think it will be Blue Otter. They will be the team to watch.
Yeah, Blue Otter, I think TLC, a lot of people are going to have their eyes on them as well if they can turn it around and get revenge against Blue Otter. I mean, first they got to go through DSG to get there, but assuming they can win the series that they are the higher seed for, then going up against Blue Otter would be a rematch for them from the end of the regular season for summer. So that one's going to be very fun to watch, but we'll keep our eyes first on DSG versus TLC up next tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. What a day 1 for best of 5s. I'm happy that it was not a 3-0 sweep. I was a little worried based on how game 1 looked, but what did have it in them for that game number 2. But thanks, Beatdown. What was your takeaway? What was your highlight of the best of 5 full Fearless draft for the first day?
I think it is really interesting when a player like Quacker is in these situations where he has so many must bans, where we're already starting to see that pressure that even if Blue Otter lost that game 4, game 5, a lot of his big picks were up and available. So, I mean, game 5s are going to get exciting is basically my big takeaway. Absolutely, they will. We had 5 bans against him, and he still pulled out the Mordekaiser. That was absolutely insane. But like I was saying, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thank you, everybody in production, for keeping the gears rolling. And thank you for cheering on our players in the NACL. We're going to send a raid over to Perry Jungle. When you get over there, make sure everybody gives a solid 07. Like I said, we'll see you tomorrow.